My hands are clammy. I don't know what to do with them. Oh, are we live?
I think so. Can't
Slick.
see us.
Slick.
I don't know what to do with them. I rest them like that at the desk.
Just cover them in talc.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to the after show. I'm Rob from Cloister podcast, and we've got Harry and Luke from Who Can Convince You.
Hello.
We've got Matt from Neither the Time Nor Space.
Hello.
And we've got Shona and Carolyn from My Adventure in Space and Time. So how are you all doing?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I know we've been chatting for the past 10 minutes, but
I think we're feeling all a bit underdressed in comparison to Harry, mostly.
Yeah.
Well, what can I say?
We haven't got this right yet, have we?
no.
If you need a
What can
new,
you say?
well, yeah, what can I say? Well, I'll slowly get rid of it bit by bit. I just thought a touch of class. You know, last week Matt did such a job.
Yeah.
It was
Just slumming it this week.
Yeah. What
it's
pants you got on,
disgusting to be
Matt?
honest.
I'm loving the shirt though.
Say again, sorry, Rob.
What pants you wearing this week?
We'll
Some, I hope.
we'll cross that bridge when Harry starts taking his off. I might be tempted to join him.
Okay.
I've spent a lot of money on Velcro this week.
Brilliant. High quality Velcro, I hope as well, not the sort of cheapy, cheap rubbish.
Yeah.
Hobbycraft Velcro.
What was the last thing you used Velcro for, Matt?
What's the last thing I use Velcro for? Let me get back to you.
All right.
Okay, have a think
That's an
about
interesting question, that isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd like to go around the room if we could.
it. I don't
All
know.
right, go on, Harold.
What about, as in me, Velcro? Probably for a pedal on a pedal board. Boring answer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Caroline.
it is, isn't it?
I mean, I work in early years, so everything has to be velcroed and childproofed. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Name
a daily basis
tags.
over here. Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
You're up to your ears in Velcro, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's that or they rip the plaster off the walls, so...
Just eat in the
The
wall.
last thing
Oh, they do.
the last thing Velcro for was to put a prop phone on top of a bit of stage so that I could use it when I was doing a
Interesting.
show on this.
Mm.
Good Velcro story, yeah.
Oh, he's
Oh,
testing
right.
it.
Here we go, here we go.
Okay.
I think mine is either a Velcro for like a dry whiteboard eraser so I don't lose it,
Oh.
or
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
a good one.
like a Velcro-y cable tie type thing on my
Yeah.
computer.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Classic
Right.
Velcro, yeah.
Like
I love this. I don't need to watch Flux. You guys live your life whilst you're young. Get on the Velcro train.
Why don't we do a podcast about Velcro and just sack this stock to
Oh, God, it'd
Yeah,
be great.
a weekly Velcro update would be better.
Hmm.
Welcome to the
Velcro.
Useful Amenities podcast. I'm Harry.
It's good because my go-to question is always, "What have you had for tea?" So now it's just, when was the last time you used Velcro?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. When was
don't-
the last time you used a Pritt stick? That's a good one.
No, I don't use them anymore.
Mine's run out. We'll come get another
Yeah.
one.
The knob's falling off.
Again.
To me. Again.
Working in a school, there's nothing worse than seeing a kid doing their Pritt stick till it's about 3 inches long and just smearing the whole thing across
Oh,
the
God.
side of their wall, and then they just bang in the book, and the book's like that in the middle.
I'm paying for that one, are you?
It's like there's rice pudding under the paper.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or again, at my work, it's that as they just go to eat it, and then that's,
Yeah, what-
that's a fear
Oh,
in
God.
itself.
What are you
It's
doing?
horrendous.
Oh, Lolly. I used to put
No.
Pritt stick all over my hand and wait 10 minutes in class and peel it off like skin. Great.
Do it with the PVA.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
PVA.
PVA.
Pritt
is the
stick
way
wouldn't work for
forward with
that, surely.
But that's the
No.
one.
PB.
The gluey one. Yeah,
Yeah,
PB.
Yeah,
I think,
That's like
like-
paste.
Last
That's the one.
Halloween, I had it all over my face, and I was peeling it off and putting blood
Oh.
under it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
Right.
must have been so itchy.
yeah.
I live for
Well-
this sort of shit.
But
There
I
is-
think an hour in, it was just melting off. I'll probably find a picture for next week to show you.
Sorry, Rob. There's a message in the chat saying people can hear us but not see us.
That was when we weren't on
That's
screen.
probably a blessing.
Yeah. Can anyone confirm that we are being seen?
I confirm. Visual, audio, FAB.
Whoa.
Right.
You're awful.
Yes. Go back to having shit internet, will you please?
Yeah, please. Please.
So, what did you dress up as for Halloween?
Everyone.
Everyone.
I think I went as Steve
Nothing.
Jobs, but it wasn't intentional. Yeah.
Whoops, I'm Steve Jobs again.
Yeah. Look like a dick.
Okay, is it Boo Radley from To Kill a Mockingbird that sits in his house on his own and never talks to anyone? Yeah, that was me. Lights off, up in the attic, just like, don't knock on my door.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Halloween, we usually just sit in the window with a BB gun, waiting to pick them off one by one.
Oh, we've got Mark in the comments. Just wanted to wish her good luck before he goes to sleep.
Aw.
Night, Mark.
Oh.
No,
I hope you have a
no.
lovely sleep, Mark. Lovely, lovely sleep.
And there's my wife. Can see you, Rob. Wink.
Oh.
Yeah, but is she in the room with you? Is that
Not in the room.
On the other side. She's in the shed.
Oh, how Alex from the Target podcast.
It's a great podcast, by the way.
But like, no one dressed up for Halloween.
No.
No.
Oh, me and Caroline did.
Oh, you
Okay.
did.
Yeah, we did. I was a business cat, which is a cat that does business. And
Oh yeah, you did. You put
Caroline-
this on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And I was in a
imagine-
skeleton suit. Because classic combination of business cat and skeleton. It was the obvious
off to do
choice.
business.
Hmm.
Business and bones.
Is this where you reveal you've built the full, like, Time Lord Victorious suit, Rob?
No.
And you're out with your massive gold collar or something?
If I had the time, yeah.
Deadly serious.
Yeah.
Is anybody aware of what the Time Lord Victorious thing is? Because I'm lost. There's that much of it.
I've dipped
Who's that?
into it. I've read the first book, and I'm holding off on the second because like all the audios, and I've got the vinyl to get through as well.
Oh my god.
I'm not reading.
Oh, the
Right.
first
Okay
book was
with
quite
that.
good. It was like a quick read.
Because I've not watched Flux, can I use that as a segue into a conversation I can join in on?
Go for
Have
it.
you all seen the interview with Eccleston this week?
No.
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 Oh,
Oh,
he is not a happy man, is he?
Brilliant.
Uh-oh.
he's so angry. It's
What's that?
brilliant. Would you
so
work
I
with
think-
Russell again? No.
I think it was it Dragon Con, one of the bigger conventions,
Yes.
not the big one. And they basically said, "Did you like doing Doctor Who?" And he went, "Yeah, it was all right." And that was about as positive as it got. Then they went, "Do you like doing Big Finish?" And he went, "Yeah, it's all right." And then they went, "Are you coming back for the 60th?" And he just went, "I hate Russell T Davies."
Yeah, Steve,
Hate.
stop asking the questions. Steve, please stop
Please
asking
stop,
questions.
stop.
Move it on, move it on, move it on.
He basically said everything went wrong and no one did anything. It was an absolute mess. It was unprofessional. And when he was leaving, Russell T Davies told everyone, even though Eccleston had said, "Oh, just do it, just do it on the slide. Don't tell anyone."
Yeah, I will. Don't worry, I will.
And then they went, "Oh, he's leaving because he gets tired all the time." So then Eccleston lost loads of work because no one would hire him. And it was like a quote directed. They said it was from Eccleston, even though he never said it.
Oh.
So weird.
He was
Yeah.
not a happy man.
It's brilliant.
Has anyone
I love
listened to his
conflict.
audios yet?
No.
No.
They're expensive.
That's the only thing with Big Finish is that if you want to keep up to date, they are pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But worth it.
Is it? Oh, I don't think it's too expensive.
I don't know. I've listened to a few of them. I know a lot of the early run, are they the weekly or the monthlies or whatever they were, like from when they started? They're all on iTunes and on Spotify for free.
Right,
You can just go and stream them. Don't pay for them. And
well, I'd paid for them all before they were online. But,
I'm sorry.
I used to get the bundles for like £100.
Whoa!
Oh.
Right, see you later, guys.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a few of them that are pretty good that I've listened to. The spare parts, that's great. There's the Colin Baker Dalek one, Jubilee, I think, which is basically just sort of a version of Dalek.
There's a lot of good ones in the first few months. Me and Liam thought we'd like review the first 50 on the podcast, but we got like 4 in, and that's as far as we got.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I think I've got most of the 8th Doctor ones on CD. There's a lot of them though.
How many hours would it be for like that £100 like box set thing?
Oh my god!
Well, no, that's only like the bundles were like £120 for 12 months of CDs, like 12 CDs. Like what, they're like 40 minutes each or something? I don't know.
No.
Or maybe like 100 minutes each. So you're not really getting much for your money.
I think I've listened to
the. It'd be expensive.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
You wouldn't get. It's like university books, isn't it? Like you're not going to get the demand for those books as you would if you just release like an episode of Doctor Who. So you got to get that money back.
Thing is,
somehow.
I want it on my shelf. So like, if it's a digital thing, I don't really want to pay the money for it.
Yeah.
So
I listened to the third Doctor Adventure one. You know where they've all been recast. I say recast. You know, they are dead. So you know, it is hard, isn't it? It's a bit of a faff, you know, for Nicholas Briggs to organise that séance.
Yeah,
Jesus.
not like recast because they did a bad job.
Yeah, you know, they've sort of
In
just
their
got people
defence,
in.
they're not alive.
Yeah. The only third Doctor one I've listened to is it Tim Trailer, I think, in The Light at the End, the Big Finish anniversary story.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the thing that puts me off. Well, that instantly put me off was the music. God. I've got to be careful because I've figured out who does the music as well, and they're quite prominent on Twitter.
Right. Oh, I know who it is. I don't
God.
I've listened
So like and subscribe, everybody.
Yeah. Right.
Isn't there quite a famous Christmas Big Finish? I think it might be Chimes of Midnight.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Christmas. You know, a Paul McGann one maybe. I might get in on that Christmas time.
Yeah.
Something festive.
That's a good one. That one was out on vinyl, but I think it was like £80 or £90 for the vinyl of that.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Well, that's quite nice. So imagine sitting in your house, putting it on your record player,
Aye.
Christmas tree up. Yeah, and then scratch it.
What do you mean, doctor? It could work.
I just wanted that massive Doctor Who compendium album thing of like all the music from Doctor Who, old and new.
Oh,
in that wooden TARDIS chest.
Still looking for it. Can't find it anywhere. Can't find it.
You won't find that.
Was this on CD or vinyl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the 50. It was for when the 50th anniversary happened, and they released all of the like available soundtracks to Doctor Who. And you can still buy the one that's like a condensed one. I think there's like 100 tracks or something.
Okay.
But
you don't want that.
Yeah, they released like a mega like 10 CD one in like a wooden TARDIS that had like all of the music like remastered.
How much was that?
I can't. We did it for the quiz, didn't we? For like to try and work out how much it was. And I don't think it was like horrendous. I think it was probably like 150 quid, which is like, you know, pretty steep. But you know, I think there was like 200 of them or something like that. There's not like, you just can't find it anywhere now. So, just torrent it.
Yeah.
Get yourself down B&M, buy your own little wooden TARDIS. And,
yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
You got felt tip right on the CDs.
Luke also bought me a copy of the thing that came before Big Finish with Nicholas Briggs in it. What was that?
Amazing.
Oh, the
Whoa.
I've got it. I'll go get it.
Oh yeah, I gave it.
Oh, it's great. I haven't listened to it yet.
He's only doing that to show off his Philips Hue lights.
Oh, Oh, I got cramp. Oh, I'm gonna cramp in ages.
I hope we get stuck.
When was the last time you had cramp? Let's go around the room.
Oh, Alex in the comments says he's got the vinyl at hand for Christmas. Chimes of Midnight. So he's got it.
Oh.
Oh,
Thanks for rubbing that in, mate.
We think.
Luke's still gone. Oh, he's back.
I'll have a good vinyl.
I got the one from Asda, the one with McGann and Tennant.
Oh, if it's got David Tennant, I'll use it as a coaster.
Pretty miserable.
I've only ever listened to one Big Finish. There was one that was free on iTunes, I think. I thought I'd dip my toe in, and I was ripped off.
And it was free.
It was something about, like, Colin Baker went to a luau on a beach, and there was some sort of mind-reading man that tricked... waste of time.
Luke got me the Dalek Master Plan vinyl. God, it's gorgeous. It's just like, you know, one of those things that you just think, this is just great. Like all of the coloured vinyl, like, oh... Beautiful.
There it is.
Oh, God, yeah. Audio visuals.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Have you listened to it?
I've heard some of them.
Is it good?
The wait.
Anybody wants a copy? Leave us your email in the... Get yourself a drink. Strap in.
Oh. Right.
So Flux.
So Matt, what's the Wheelie Big Quiz up to?
So
I'll update the total on screen.
We had your questions last week, Harry's this week. Next week, it's one of our listeners that's in our pod Hall of Fame. We've got a Hall of Fame for just like the good ones, the ones that aren't like massive misogynists and stuff. So I think we're up to £236, which isn't bad.
Not bad.
So we want to get to 324. That beats last year. I can't remember. We've got like little goals. If we reach every other £50, we're like doing special things. So we've done a couple of special Christmas episodes. Mark, who's not with us, he asked if we would do...
Are you doing Class?
Yeah, we're going to watch all of Class in one sitting. That is going to be...
Has anyone here seen it?
Oh, yeah, it's dreadful.
I tried. It is dry, man.
There's people on Twitter that will defend it to the hilt, and you just think, you're just wrong. Well, don't stick up for it. It's allowed to be crap.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
What I don't get is, everyone in Class is the most beautiful people I've ever seen. And they're like, oh, God, check out this nerd over here. And it's like some absolute model. And it's, oh, God, what a social outcast. And then it's like, oh, let's go to the science club and see those nerds. And it's like the most beautiful man you've ever met. Like, it's not set in the real world. It is.
It's weird, that, isn't it? Like, a friend of mine, Tim, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times. He has this about violinists. Like, all of the violinists that we know, you know, just are like normal people. But whenever there's a violinist that's on telly, they're like a supermodel.
Oh my God, that's true.
It's really weird. They're just, it's either librarian, supermodel. It's
librarian.
Well, you know, nothing against librarian, but you know, they're just sort of normal people. But if you're on telly, and I've only seen the first episode of Class, but every sentence could just end with "and that's okay." So it's like, oh, I have homosexual feelings, and that's okay. My mum and dad are divorced, but that's okay. I'm in a wheelchair, and that's okay. It's one big mixing pot is Class, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the cliffhanger at the end?
You're the only person on Earth that's made it.
The only person that's made it through. Yeah.
I did sit and watch it, and it was that good. I genuinely don't remember what the cliffhanger was.
And that is the reason it got cancelled.
Yeah, that.
Shall I tell you what it was, or shall I leave it?
I don't think anybody's going to be heartbroken over it. I'm not going to lie. We haven't sold it, really, have we?
Well, basically, like, the Weeping Angels turn up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so they all just get zapped back in time, and then it's like...
Well, no, it's like...
Oh, God, they could come back then.
The guy from Sarah Jane with the parrot was there, and he was kind of playing a different character, and there's some kind of civil war with the Weeping Angels happening. But
do you reckon they could all turn up in Flux then? Because of the Weeping Angels, like, zapping everybody, and they're all going to be there at the end, like, we're all really strong.
See if we jinx this, lads.
The other thing I really hated about Class is the Doctor is nothing like the Doctor. He turns up at the end and he's like, look, I've been through all of space and time. I love fighting aliens and solving problems, but you guys have got this. See ya. Like,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, I recognise him. It's Peter Capaldi. But if it came out in a later episode that was some Zygon, I'd believe it.
Yeah. It would have been a better plotline.
But yeah.
Is that why I went back and dipped into it?
You what?
Then that's why I went back in the first place, because I went, well, if they've got Capaldi on board with this, then it must be fairly good and fairly linked.
It's gotta be good.
And just was like, oh, okay, and then that was it. I can't even see him turning up, and it was the highlight because it didn't really save it.
Should I be worried that you lot would rather talk about Class than Flux?
I noticed that was happening.
Be afraid.
I feel like we're all too frightened to start talking about Flux. We're just skirting around the edge of it and talking about anything but.
To be fair, I watched Flux this morning, and I went to see Eternals, and I can't remember what happened in Doctor Who. It was this morning.
Well then.
We'll help you.
Oh, help me along. So Matt, are you going on mute?
Yeah, I'll bob in and out.
What's the sign to bring you back?
When Luke takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we all end the call.
Crying.
Boo boo boo.
Just give me the old, and that's okay. Finger guns.
You can take your shirt off, Luke, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
No.
Right,
anyway,
we've got to do this. Needs to be done. I'm not starting.
So, anyone watching, let me know in the comments what you thought of Flux this week. So, how did it start? Oh yeah, there's that weird, house floating in the Doctor's
black and
vision.
White shot.
Yeah, what happened there?
Like a scooping castle, yeah.
Creepy house thing.
That was with no context whatsoever. I don't think really was it.
Right.
No, it's like a vision or
context.
something.
Just a floating house.
I thought it looked great, that bit.
It did. The fact it was done in black and white was beautiful.
Yeah. Moving on.
We have nothing. We've got nothing.
We all liked that house.
House, good.
Oh, it's convoluted, isn't it?
So, the Doctor wakes up on the battlefield, and Dan and Yaz are there.
We definitely are there, aren't they?
Definitely.
Do you know what? I do have something to say about this opening, because you know how a lot of people have been saying that it's kind of like going back to the classic era because we have the cliffhangers. But me and Caroline were talking about this literally when we were talking about the Web Planet, about how the cliffhangers are, and I like it, like it's endearing, but the cliffhangers are always immediately avoided, like within 10 seconds of in Planet of Giants there was the cliffhanger with the massive cat, and then it's like the next episode starts and the cat just runs away, and it's like, ran away. And we were watching the web
every single week. They cop out.
It's never. And we were watching the Web Planet, and it's the one where what is it? I think Barbara's about to walk into some acid, and she literally just like walks around it. She's just like, oh no, it's fine.
Yeah,
and I felt like it was that.
Yeah.
I felt like the Flux is coming to TARDIS, and she was like, oh no, it's fine.
Oh no, I'm just on some grass.
Yeah, they just kind of got flung out.
The thing with the cliffhanger is, like, at the end of the story, so they leave you with the cliffhanger of, like, you know, the thing that has happened to Yaz.
Is this Flux?
Yeah. And then at the very end of the trailer, they just show Yaz, like, you know, she'll be fine.
Do the next time bits after the credit, and then show them all still blatantly alive.
Yeah.
You're like,
why are you doing that then?
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
I used to not watch the next time trailers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
To get the full effect.
Oh, Matt's gone.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. He's up there.
Sorry, I went to mute myself and accidentally turned everything off.
Should we get out of the way, Harold?
Do you want to just do a general thought?
Should we just do it?
Go on, you go for it, Luke. You go for it.
Us. We didn't like it. We had high hopes after the first one. And then to the second one, we just think it went downhill. And we've got our reasons.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it. But I'd like to go through it along with everyone and really discuss what we did anyway and what we didn't like. So, but no. This one was a doozy. It was a doozy. So yeah. The elephant's out of the way now. It's gone.
It's out in the open now. It's said. It's said. It's said and done.
Wasn't as good as last week.
It wasn't bad. It was just. I don't know. We've already said, like, we're going to give it one more, and then.
And then we're at the halfway point. So.
Well, it's just we're going to give it one more, and then if we're not in,
you're out.
We'll just leave it.
Only for the reviews on our podcast.
Though. Yeah, on the podcast.
Because you just be overly negative. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't.
But no, I liked how the Sontarans looked in this episode. I thought it was cool. I like always the look. It looks great.
Do you think it was nice having Dan Starkey back? Do you like it? No.
No.
So we finally got rid of him.
No.
He's back.
Well, we're saying too much now.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't Dan by himself. I quite like the character Dan.
No, not that
I like
Dan.
John Bishop.
No, not John, but
not Dan.
What? Who's Dan?
The Sontaran. You know the one we were talking about earlier on. That's played.
Normally Strax.
Yeah.
Funny man.
The funny one.
The funny one.
Comedy Sontaran.
The funny Sontaran.
Yeah, you know they're all clones except that one that looks like the one that.
The one is
That's the you're with it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Mute.
No. Yeah.
It is funny to see that it's clearly the same two actors.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no effort to hide it, but.
And the other one isn't. The other one isn't the same guy, is it?
Is it? Oh, I just presumed it was, I guess.
Doesn't Dan plays two, doesn't he?
Yeah, Dan Starkey's a couple of them.
I think he was playing more than two, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like every other Sontaran was him.
I like the other bloke that was playing the Sontarans.
I like the old one with the whiskers.
Yeah, it's just there's something about Dan Starkey that I just. It's just he's playing every line sort of with a bit of a wink, sort of.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You know, and it's just sort of, I'm not really into that. So
the other one, Jonathan Watson, he's like a proper. He's really not really famous, but he's quite famous up in Scotland here because he's been in loads of Scottish TV. So we all know who he is, and we're like, and it's great because there's bits of his accent drift into it, but it's not fully Scottish. And
I saw that at the end. He plays like another one, and I was like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, his accent seems to really drift in and out.
What's his name? Jonathan Watson.
Jonathan Watson. So he is in a thing that's like a New Year staple up here called Only an Excuse, which is a sort of football piss take impressionist type thing. Which probably it just really takes a piss out of Scottish football, so it probably goes right over the head of the rest of the country. But we all kind of went, wait, what? Sorry, he's doing this now.
Yeah, what a curveball.
It's really bizarre. And then most of the time I would never recognise him, and just occasionally there's something he says that I'm like, yep.
Oh yeah, there he is.
It is weird, isn't it, how they pick these people? Not like not in like a negative way, but they've got IMDb up in front of them.
Yeah,
and Chibnall and his crew are all there going like, who was? Do you remember that thing that used to be on? What was that? Who was it that was in that? We'll have them. It's just
who was that?
The other Sontaran that's not, I don't think he's appeared this series, but the one that was in the sort of previous incarnation of Sontarans was that Christopher Ryan, who was the guy out of like the Young Ones and stuff.
Yeah,
that.
And you're like, also, how did you end up as a Sontaran? Maybe just because he's little. I don't know.
What are
maybe
you doing here?
The height thing.
This. Why?
Why are you a thing?
Yeah, he was in Vengeance on Varus as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
Oh, yes, right enough.
Aye.
Yes. Because they like bringing people back from classic series and just crowbarring them in.
It's people from classic series who are heavily made up or are completely unrecognisable.
Yeah, you can just crowbar them back in.
See what we did there?
Thing.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
I like
now
how
you told me. Yeah.
I like how Link's got a mention from the Time Warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I did enjoy that. I love it when they do throwbacks.
Can someone explain that to me? I know there was a buzz about it, but as a not classic person, I was like, what?
So
you've not got that far yet, but he's like original Sontaran story.
Yeah, basically he kind of planted his flag on Earth, and to kind of claim it. So to reference to that.
Well, this was weird for me because I know there were some comedy Sontarans, but weirdly for me, this is kind of the scariest I've seen them because I've only seen Yuhu Sontarans. So for me, I was a bit there was Dan Starkey Sontaran, but the rest of them were pretty brutal. They were just fucking killing people.
Yeah, gunning people down in the docks.
Yeah,
I really like that. Not killing people down bits, but just the tone of it. But you see that scene, and I didn't think they'd do it, but they just execute 3 people.
Yeah.
And then the next
quite dark
10 minutes, John Bishop's going around with a wok, cracking jokes. I'm like, John, you just saw 3 people get slaughtered in front of you and did nothing to help them. That's all right. The tone is everywhere in this. Sorry to bring it down. But I did like that about the Sontarans, and I wish we saw that earlier. Because I grew up with the Sontarans being the jokers, the things you laugh at. They were always the side monster to and there was a bigger thing going on in the background, and nothing changed. But
I think
we have those little slither of scenes where we'll see that these Sontarans have some threat, and that was nice.
Well, that's the thing. It's the dialogue has been the issue with New Who, with the Sontarans anyway, of just sort of they're inherently funny, but the dialogue seems to sort of have to tell you it's funny. Rather like in the Time Warrior, when Lynx puts the flag up, it's funny because it's this stupid little flag that just goes. It's that's funny.
He's nicked it off the golf course, and then
it
is he's sort of going, that sort of stuff is funny, but if that happened now,
it's not trying.
Well, do you think it's do you think this is a modern Who defensiveness where they're aware of their reputation and they're but we know it's funny.
Yeah, they must be. They must be. I wish they weren't. But
when you say, Harold, that you wish they'd play it straight, like the comedy, play it a deadpan.
Well,
sometimes do it.
Well, if you look at any sort of comedy show, they're usually funnier when the characters are deadly serious.
Yeah.
Because the situation is funny. You don't have to have them cracking jokes. And I think that's some of the problem with when they've had Matt Lucas and not so much John Bishop, but when they bring these comedians in, they just sort of make them tell jokes. It's sort of they don't have to do that. They're funny because they're sort of the situation that they're put in.
What's everyone's least favourite comedian guest appearance?
Matt Lucas.
You think? What about James Corden? James Corden or Peter Kay? Where would you rank those?
Oh, James Corden's down.
He wasn't overly being a comedy character, I don't think.
No,
like, he was sort of slightly more elongated through the plot, but...
I like his
I'm not
character.
a fan.
I did like his character, I just don't much like the old James.
Yeah.
But...
I don't find him funny.
No.
There was Lee Evans as well.
That's the one, Lee Evans.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Greg Davies.
That was what I was going to say as well. I think Greg Davies' one was... And I really like Greg Davies. I think he's hilarious. But it was... Again, the tone was all wrong in his episodes.
I can't really remember him. I know he was sort of ahead, wasn't he, on a robot or something?
Yeah.
I was out by then, but...
I mean, the Camp Mitchell and Webb robots were an interesting take as well. I'm not sure where people stand on those.
I just don't understand the thought of it, like having these, really recognisable people for us anyway. I don't know what it's like overseas if they sort of just think, maybe Matt Lucas, but like Lee Mack turning up, nobody is going to have a clue that is, unless Would I Lie to You is sold to Uzbekistan.
It's always the question of like who is the audience. I don't think they really know. Because
they might know James Corden in America.
They can't avoid him. He's getting everywhere.
Matt Smith's era was massive in America. Like that's what kicked it off, really, wasn't it? So, I was watching part 2 of Flux with my dad just then, and disinterested, couldn't give a shit. Then he saw Anfield and John Bishop, and he's like, "Ooh." And then he went off screen, and that was it then. But he wanted to see Anfield again. I think it's catering to an audience. It's just not the demographic you think of, I guess, having these comedians in. I don't know.
Have we had any sort of...
It pulls you right out of the scene.
Have we had any guest cast from, like, other countries? Like, people who are big in America?
Or well, like back in Series 11, we had Big from Sex and the City. In Arachnids in the UK. He was back, the guy.
Oh,
who owned the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Or the...
God, is that the awful American... He was in the Dalek one as well.
Yeah. Revelation, was it?
He was evil, wasn't he?
He was evil. He was alright. I liked him.
It's okay.
Oh.
BT Flibbity Giggit said James Corden didn't get over to the US until after the Doctor Who episodes were on.
Yeah.
James Hughes said Peter Kay was class.
Yeah, as what's his name? Not Bzorbaloff,
Bzorbaloff.
Peter Kay.
The character he played.
Tastes like chicken.
What was the character's name? I can't remember what it was.
I just thought he was
I'll Google it.
Oh yeah, when he was the man.
Yeah.
Victor Kennedy.
That's one, Victor Kennedy. When he played
I would not have got that in a month Sunday.
Is that literally his name?
Victor Kennedy. It sounds like a sort of like an aeroplane signal.
Victor Kennedy.
Yeah, Victor Kennedy. Victor Kennedy.
Even when he was the alien. What?
No, then he was an Absorbaloff, but when he was as a human, he was called.
I quite liked him. It's Victor Kennedy. I thought he was good.
According to Wikipedia, the Absorbaloff was the name given by both the 10th Doctor and Elton Pope to an Absorbalovian who disguised himself as a human under the name Victor Kennedy. There you go.
Did they call his creature an Absorbalovian?
Yeah. Sound like...
See, that design was from a Blue Peter competition. I wasn't sure if the kid named the character as well.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, so now you should feel bad now because you've just had a go at a child.
I really did as well. I was like, what a stupid name.
Yeah. So,
I wonder how specific that child was. Like, he can turn into a man called Victor Kennedy.
Well, actually, I remember the drawing kind of looked all right.
Yeah, I remember the drawing now, actually. No, you mentioned it.
And then they just... so it went
Peter
wrong.
Kay would be good. Send.
They get to cast it as well.
Yeah.
That's why.
Let's see. Here we go. If I can share this. if it'll work.
Oh, this is getting. Oh, I don't know what's happening here.
What are you doing? What's going on?
Hold on.
Oh, no, he's gone.
It's all kicking off here.
Here he is.
Oh, wow, we've got all the info. Oh my god!
Wow,
that looks cool.
Actually, kind of looks a lot better.
No, it does.
Well, yeah, it's not moving, speaking, or in this terrible story.
It's quite creepy that a child came up for that, actually.
There we go.
So, does anyone like any other like Doctorless episodes?
No.
Doctorless episodes.
It's not...
I quite like Turn Left, I guess.
There's not many, is there?
Oh, is there?
No, it's not that many. But I mean, your original Weeping Angels one's your classic, innit? But
yeah,
that's overrated, I think.
Yeah, not massively. It is a good episode.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
It definitely is a good episode. It was just never one of my favourites, so I don't know. I haven't watched it in so long, so I don't know.
I did like the Time of Angels 2-parter.
I didn't like that they moved, that you could see them moving. That really took me out of it. I was really enjoying it, and then they started to you could just start seeing them moving about.
That was creepy.
Which one was that one?
That was with River. It was the early Matt Smith one.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool because we didn't know who River was.
Spaceship, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But
fun fact, that's the first one they filmed as well. I think Matt Smith and Karen Gillan.
Yeah, because that's the one where Matt's hair's a different length every fucking shot, because they just like loads of bits of it, and sometimes he's got like really long hair, and then it's suddenly like 3 inches shorter halfway through the filming.
Really?
Quite a lot of his series is like that, and see, once you know that, it really annoys you while you're watching it.
I hate that. You know when you
You're
pick
welcome,
up on something.
guys. You're welcome. I've ruined it for you all.
Did anyone else see that episode when it came out, and like over the end, like an animated Graham Norton came on screen and kind of ruined the moment.
Yes, people went mental.
he talked over the Rose episode as well.
It would be him, wouldn't it?
Aye.
He's a piece of shit.
You know.
You'll be eating your words when he's the companion next series.
I'm amazed that Graham Norton's not been on Doctor Who. I'm almost convinced he might be, and we've just forgotten, honestly.
Yeah, he seems to be, it's like Bruce Forsyth. He must have been in Doctor Who.
Come on.
So where we're at with Flux?
We need to talk about Flux.
I know, yeah.
I think
we're really
we're at the beginning. Yeah, at the start. So there was a house. Right.
In the dark, dark field, there was a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house, there was a lack of stock.
And then there was a Mary sequel.
Cliffhangers, and then we haven't even got as far as her, but let's go back there.
You got Yaz and
Yaz
behind.
Oh, doesn't Yaz see that guy who's digging the tunnels? That guy from Liverpool.
Oh yeah,
Korean man.
Forgot he turned up.
Yeah, so the end, that
makes absolutely no sense.
No.
Is it not at the end?
15,
no, it's in the middle. Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Then she sees
met
Vinder.
The other guy first.
Yeah.
She's met Vinder first.
Yeah. Wait, no, she met. Oh, wait, no, I thought she bumped into the old Liverpool man, and then he wandered off, and then she bumped into Vinder, and they started trying to repair all this stuff.
Yeah. Can you repair it?
Oh.
I just hear that voice.
I can't work out who it is. It's definitely... They've definitely been in Doctor Who or Blake 7 or something. The voice is really familiar.
It sounds really John Leeson to me. It's got a bit of canine about it.
It might be. It's somebody like that.
I mean, I don't think his name came up at the end, but it's bugging me because it has been in something else like much more recently. I've had the same thing. It's really bugging me.
I mean, I'll Google, but maybe.
Do you know what it is? It's just come to me. You know, in the first James Corden story, with the thing up the stairs.
The TARDIS upstairs, yeah.
It's that voice of the hologram thing. Is it not the same voice as that? You know, it's like a hologram of a little old man and then the little girl.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually weirdly similarly looking for something to repair it. That's been annoying me for like 2.5 days.
Perhaps James Corden is Swarm.
What do we think of Swarm at the minute? Because Alex in the comments said, what do we think? Because he thinks it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm still closer to making anything on that one.
The little triangle was Nigel Richard Lambert. Who's best known for his role as the narrator of the first series of BBC comedy series Look Around You.
You know, 76, seriously.
He's the voice. He was in the original Paddington Bear television series.
There we go. That's why they got him.
Guys, he is in an old Doctor Who episode.
Actually, Alex said he thought it was John Leeson, and so did I.
Yes, I thought it was as well.
Caroline
sounded like him.
Yeah.
He was the character of Hardin in The Leisure Hive.
Oh well.
There you go, guys.
Yippee.
What did Alex say before?
What a callback.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure his agent asked him to just cross that bit out.
What did Alex say that was interesting?
Oh, he said, what did we think of the Swarm? Because he thinks they're interesting. Yeah, good, interesting.
I thought they were way more flamboyant in this. Like, he was like leaning against pillars, and they were, like,
he's
dancing.
very.
Yeah, I was kind of into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite good at the woman Swarm, lady Swarm. I don't know.
Azure.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Azure. I get that for Christmas.
Very noir.
Stop. But yeah, I was quite looking forward to seeing her act more reserved, like she's in the first episode. Like, she's so mysterious. She's just a blank face. I thought it was so much more impactful. But she acts the way she acted in episode 2. But they're definitely my favourite thing about Flux.
Yeah,
interesting. For sure.
So who have we not seen
cool.
yet? Because we haven't had that Claire, who the angel sent back.
We don't know what's happened to Diane again.
Diane, yeah.
And although Victorian bloke appeared, we're not really any closer to having a clue what he's on about.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, remember him from the first episode. I'm sure it was just a sort of, don't forget about this bit because it's going to be important.
Do you think they're going to bump into him in every episode? Yeah.
I hope
he seems to be implying that he was like stuck in some sort of time loop or something. Like, she was like, "Hey, why don't you start from the beginning?" You know, and he was like, "Don't mock me," and then he kind of wandered off again.
Yeah, it was weird.
On the point of, sorry.
Go on. I thought at first he might have got there the same way Yaz and Dan did, but that's something to do with the vortex and the flux, like colliding, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
How exactly? There's a lot of info dumping in this. I missed that one.
See, before I saw the episode, I saw a picture of that. I thought Dan was like regenerated.
Yeah.
But
you know, on the subject of Swarm, I watched episode 1 again, just to sort of, I don't know, and there was when the Doctor first meets Swarm in that sort of hazy CGI land, she doesn't know who he is. He says they were so efficient. There's not a tiny corner of you that remembers. Who's they?
The Division, because the Division was efficient in wiping the Doctor's memories.
Oh, right, okay. Because I thought that. Yeah. I thought he said that. I couldn't remember what he said. I remember him saying, like, sort of, you don't remember anything, but then the subtitles are wrong.
The Ood.
Exactly. Oh, I forgot they're going to be in this as well, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I had forgotten that.
And the Cybermen. They're next week.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that as well.
So the Master's coming back.
Are they the Cyber Lords or just Cybermen?
That's a good question, yeah.
Well, I thought that those sort of Cybermen at the end of the Timeless Child, aren't they the only ones left now?
I guess so. Well, no, there'll still be Cybermen all over the universe, won't there?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's also
as long as those Time Lord ones don't come back.
So.
Well, they've escaped, so they will be back, won't they?
Well, that's what. Yeah. When I saw Cybermen back, I thought, all right, well, the Master's definitely coming back. There was that leaked photo, wasn't there, of filming, and somebody had a box that said Master's props.
Oh, right.
It stood outside. Oh, for God's sake! Yeah.
Maybe they were just the props master.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Maybe.
Otherwise, Luke's out.
I can't. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't.
You're not a fan, are you?
I love Missy. I feel like I'm the only one. Missy was great.
Oh no, I love Missy. Yeah.
Good.
I'm sorry. No.
Oh, it's so fun to watch.
I think I'm on Team Caroline for this.
I don't like the big shift from going from Missy to Sacha Dhawan. Like, it's not even talked about that she was kind of good.
Right. I don't want to say that our chat's been overtaken, but Webcam HD says, "Girls here will do what you want."
No.
And then some emoji.
Brilliant. Can somebody in the chat click it and tell us where it goes?
Well, I'll mute myself again and might turn my camera off as well.
Report back.
Put your browser back on screen.
Have you got a VPN? But yeah, anyway, the Master. I just think, I know it seems like a bit of a cop-out thing to say, but like you watch Roger Delgado play the Master, even Anthony Ainley, and you just think that cool sort of calm menace is so much. It works so much better than being all sort of kooky and.
The only time we saw that new Who was, what's his name?
Derek Jacobi.
Utopia. Yeah.
Oh
Utopia.
God. And then I remember that.
We got.
I remember him holding that like sparking wire up to the thing, saying that he was the Master, and I just thought, God, this is brilliant. This is exactly what we need. And then it's like dead. Hi, John Sim. Bye bye. Oh, right, okay.
David Tennant's in his series now.
Big Finish, isn't it?
I don't know how they all fit in. Is it like before he was Yana?
I can't follow it.
No.
It hurts
it gets a bit complicated, doesn't it, after a while? So Flux.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
See what we're talking about, the Cybermen again with the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same set, or am I just beginning to... Like, the actual circle, the big sort of temple of Atropos or whatever, is it the same set, the big circle, and the set of steps?
Yeah, probably.
I think the Cybermen bit on the trailer, it looks like the bit of the dog's spaceship. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, did it?
You know that sort of yellow thing?
They do recycle sets a lot. Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering, I don't know if it was just me, and I was like, is that intentional because we're still doing, like, Timeless Child things? Or, because where they had, like, the sort of big Timeless Child reveal in the big stone circle, and then all the Cybermen came down the steps, it looks like exactly the same set that these hologram things are in, whatever they are.
I remember in, is it Series 7, where a good man goes to war, and it was annoying because, like, the TARDIS corridor was reused and used in that episode.
Yeah.
There's probably other times.
I think those Mori, is that what they're called? The Mori? Yeah. I think they look great.
They do.
Like the idea of all the stuff. That's the thing with the Flux thing. The ideas are great, but there's just I think there's just
too much going on.
There's too much going on. It's like we did our Flux review, wccy.co.uk.
All right, come on.
We were saying that we hoped that it wasn't going to be a Sontaran story with the Flux bit at the end, and then a Weeping Angel story with the Flux bit at the end.
Yeah.
And it just, like, really, I'm not to be an ass about it, but like really, this story, the War of the Sontarans, was just a Sontaran story with the Flux bit that was sort of behind it.
The only thing we learned was that they knew about the Flux,
which we already knew. Yeah,
they're aware of it.
So we had to get through that to the Doctor now.
But there was no explanation. If they'd have done a little bit more of sort of the Sontarans are aware of the Flux.
Who are?
And there are Sontarans are aware of the Flux, and they're using it to do what they're doing. But it wasn't. It was just sort of Yeah, we know about that, and we've just come back because Link's this is our planet now, and we just want to kill everybody. But yeah, but what about the Flux?
You can still have the rest of that
he also
story
wanted to write arcs.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have the Sontarans back this series in a big way, or maybe just in a little way, or not at all?
No. I think they're gone.
Yeah, I think they've got done and dead now.
They got pretty well and truly blown up, I reckon.
Oh yes, that's it.
Yeah, we discussed this.
Yeah, she shit it when that
She
happened.
was furious about that.
Yeah.
Yet the Sontarans just said, we'll be back to kill everybody. Right. So
I think it's a kind of nod towards like the Sycorax when had a go at
Harriet Jones,
the Prime Minister. Yeah, Harry Jones.
Yeah.
But that was different. She didn't have to do that because they were going.
Yeah.
In this case, Sontarans, they will be back, and I don't know. The guy was a dick anyway, but I like the guy who played it. The
general.
Yeah, he was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't like him, and that's the whole point. There we go. Good job.
Dione,
Dione T.
Dione T.
Yeah.
Incidental Welsh there, just for the listeners.
So there's not much else in this episode. That we haven't already mentioned.
Is there?
No, there was so much going on last week. Yeah.
There's Mary Seacole, random historical.
I think she's been really well cast, to be fair. I'm still not quite sure what they were angling at with it, but I think she's really well cast. I quite like her.
Well, yeah.
And that's like what Chibnall's generally lauded for, isn't it? Is historicals. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's always pretty good when this Doctor teams up with a historical figure. Like, I really like the Nikola Tesla episode. I like when she goes a little run around with Ada Lovelace and Noor Idia Khan. So I think that always looks quite comfortable, and it seems to work with this Doctor in this kind of
I think it's one of the worst times that's happened now, because we've had Rosa. I think we got spoiled by Rosa.
Oh yeah, Rosa,
historical
best example, yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
I know about this woman, but I don't really, when I watch Rosa, I know who Rosa Parks is, and it makes me want to read up on like Nikola Tesla for that. With this, it just seems like it makes sense because it's the war.
I think the only problem, the main
problem
for it, the main problem with me with using Mary Seacole, not even using her, having her in the story, is that basically they just put her on top of a hill and just say, right, just watch this and we're going to go and crack on.
Yeah, that's pretty much
it. It's like...
Yeah, can you just wait here and write down everything you see and we'll be back in a bit? And then they take the book off her and that's it.
Well, yeah,
right?
Arguably because it's not like Rosa, is it? Because it's not a story about Mary Seacole, it's a story about Mary Seacole and the Sontarans and the Flux. And
I think that's the main problem with this episode. What is the story on? What is the whole crux of it? Because I don't think we get anywhere. We don't learn anything new.
I thought it's a lot. Yes.
The what?
I like that. What's the crux of the Flux?
Exactly. 2 episodes in, I'm still not sure on what exactly is.
Do you think it'll still be like that by episode 5? We'll just not have a clue.
I would hope
we don't have anything to
stuff up by episode 5, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Well, that's what one thing me and Luke were talking earlier on. We get 6 episodes this time, don't we? Is it for this little run?
Yeah.
So, do we think those are going to wrap up one story, or do we reckon it's going to be wrapped up in the specials that are next year?
I think I imagine it'll be wrapped up in the 6, and then lead off to something else.
Flux is like a standalone thing, or
I hope so.
Hopefully, those 3 will be standalones.
Because I think if you leave it that long after that,
if they have 3 specials, they can maximise the budget there. So they can have a 3-episode banger of
the David Tennant specials.
Apex of Flux.
Were all right. They were all like standalone feature-length ones.
They're going to be quite spread out, though, aren't they?
Again.
Yeah. Have we got? I heard a rumor it's one going to be New Year's Day, so like straight after.
I think they are going to be like, I think New Year, and then like Easter and then the 100th, the centenary, I think.
Ah, right, okay.
Do you remember the last time there was an Easter episode? It was the Planet of the Dead.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. And the only Easter thing about it is that he's got a wee Easter egg on the bus.
Yeah. At least we've got like an Easter gift to use.
That's one of those Doctor Who things that people forget about. But somewhere out there is a flying space bus.
Yeah. There's a whole Big Finish show about that.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's on a second series.
Oh.
And that's how Big Finish get their quotes in the
they'll just make anything, will they? Anything. It is like a genie. Just like say it 3 times and they'll do it. It's like,
please tell me the magic space bus stops at Clara's Magic Space Diner. And at the bar there's Robo Brigadier after he flew off into space. Just get them all those little things everyone forgets. Just
yeah.
There's parallel Dr. Rose.
Look at that.
The pirates that have popped off.
Christina, oh my god.
That's series 1. I think there's a series 2 or 3 out now.
Stop
Brilliant.
it. Why has it got like Disney font on it? What's that about?
Yeah, it looks
Disney Cinderella font.
It's just to make it easy for the Disney takeover of Big Finish. It's like, you don't have to do anything, just...
Oh. Well, get the Clara and Ed Shield, a spin-off series.
I think that's the worst font. It has to be Jenny.
Somebody was phoning
that's so lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it when I get home, Nick.
Phoning it in. They've just gone through Microsoft Word, the drop-down box. I'll do.
Yeah. Arial bold.
No, nobody will read Wingdings. Let's do something else.
Wingdings.
Is that even still a thing, or am I just sure?
Probably.
So was the whole point in this episode to have Sontarans on horses? One on horseback.
One on a horse.
And he didn't ride side saddle either. I was gutted. I'd love to see a Sontaran ride side saddle.
That's
so funny.
Absolutely ruined me, and I shouldn't have laughed, but it was brilliant.
Yeah, the Sontarans always make me smirk, and I hate how they do that because they are funny, because they do it deadpan. I like that.
Yeah.
I did like them in there.
The introduction of the teeth licking thing, though, like how sinister is the tongue thing? It's horrible.
It's great.
It's so great for the character, for the whole. But well,
really what about this whole 7 minutes thing? Where
did that come from?
That's new, is it?
Yeah, that is brand new, that isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they need to recharge. The whole army needs to recharge all at once now.
Yeah.
It's really toned down now with like the woks and the mallets, because in the classic series it was like bow and arrows and throwing knives in the back of the neck and things like that.
We've had a tennis ball at some point, have we not? DT used a tennis ball.
And a slingshot as well this week.
Oh, she used the slingshot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought for sure she was going to say cowabunga. I really thought she was going to do it. Oh.
And say that she met Bart Simpson once or something.
Yeah. To be honest, I would have liked if she said that, to be fair.
The thing, when they brought up that 7 minutes thing, I was just thinking, right, so all of the Sontarans have got to go back into the ship every 20 whatever hours it was.
Yeah.
Or they'll die. But what about the one that Mary Seacole's looking after that's been there for days that she's been watching that's still alive?
Oh.
Oh wait, but she... Oh wait, yeah.
I just...
So she said she's resting her feet. But she did say...
She said he was healing himself, like he was treating himself.
Like a mobile charging unit.
Maybe blow
maybe.
Steyr in the Sontaran experiment had one of those, didn't he? And the Doctor kind of reversed it, and he deflated like a balloon. Do you remember that? No one's seen that.
I think they're just making this up as they go along.
I just imagine Chibnall sat there watching it with his wife, just sort of like this bit's. Oh shit. Just... It's like, oh, for God's sake. I knew there was something.
No, you don't understand.
I'll go and put the kettle on.
What did phone off for the evening, like
texting whoever's the editor, like, told you to cut that bit.
You know when Dan and Yaz disappear at the beginning? I thought for sure we would get a Doctor-only story, or a Yaz-only story, or a Dan-only story.
Yeah.
And I was really excited, and we didn't. That, I think, is the most gutting thing about this episode. I was really looking forward to that. We see him straight away as well. But at least I didn't expect them to reunite in the same episode. I thought they'd be split then into their own paths. So Yaz is with Binder, and, you know, all split up.
Yeah.
I still feel like we're going to get that.
What did you think of Dan's mum and dad?
Are they coming back? What's going on there?
I don't think she's really Liverpudlian, is she?
No, and why does she look like Luke?
What's her first, like, where the hell have you been? I was like, what?
So bad.
Should we give it another go, or no?
Memory card's full.
Memory card's full. We'll just keep going. Just keep going.
No,
a lot of time was with them as well. A lot of time.
I like the idea of them, though. I think the dad was great.
Yeah. I thought he's always done that with, like, Jackie Tyler and stuff like that. Like, he's always been there.
That is probably something that's missing a little bit from New Who. I hate to say it because, you know, it's not my bag, but you think with Rose, with Martha, with Donna, that family thing is so strong there. And, like, Yaz's family, we haven't seen them for a series and a half. Probably since season 11, is it? Like, they've just gone now. That's it.
Were they only in the one episode?
Oh, we saw them in
Spider one.
Oh, what's it called? Can you hear me? Yaz's sister.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry. Somebody had to do it, didn't they?
I think it's a staple of Russell as well, that we're definitely going to see a return to that when he comes back. I think it's going to be good as well, because it built Donna's... Is Donna a good character? Because I think she is.
Yeah.
I really resonate with her. And she would not have been as good as a character if we didn't see so much of her family, especially in Turn Left.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure when they cast her. I was a bit apprehensive, but...
You know, again, it's another one of these comedians crowbarred thing that we went, really? And
I thought, nah.
Actually, she was...
So
well, this is why I always try and tell myself to give the benefit of the doubt, because I felt the same, like, when they cast Bradley Walsh, when they cast John Bishop, honestly. I was like, and then I was like, look, remember Catherine Tate, like...
Yeah. And she was the first new companion where there was literally no potential, like, romance there. It was more like like friends kind of thing. So it was a nice having, like, a change from that.
Yeah, sure.
Even when they cast Billie Piper, I mean, I remember going past, because I was still, like, coming back, and there was a billboard on my way home from school where that was all laid out, and I remember just going, really? Like, seriously? And yet, actually, she was incredible, and she's actually had a really decent acting career off the back of it.
Why did we play that song so loud?
Exactly.
Because we want to.
There's a good bit of trivia in the chat from Jake from Married to Whom podcast. Says the lady that played Dan's mum is only 9 years older than John Bishop.
I swear I was thinking this during the episode. I was like,
I hope they make an episode about that. Yeah. She was only 9.
She must be the Rani. Must be.
Gotta be.
But like what Shona was just saying then about like your expectations of when you see a comedian, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's the problem that I'm having with Flux at the minute. That I'm not disliking it, but I'm not particularly enjoying it to the point that I want to carry on watching it. But I really want to give it the benefit of the doubt, because if I don't get the full story, then I feel a bit like sort of it could be great next week.
Yeah.
And so I keep watching thinking, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I think, well, give it one more. And then before
you know it. The premise is there.
It is definitely there. And
that is great.
And there's still time. There is still time for it, for me, to be good. But I just think there's...
It's weird, we're only 2 episodes in and we're nearly halfway.
Well, that's the thing, is it? What, we got 4 left now? There's still a hell of a lot of plot strands that were set up that have got a lot of explaining to do, or to at least feel like you sort of and breathe, like they're done now. There's that bit that's signed off.
Because this episode just introduces more. With no closer to having...
or it's just kept a lot of them hanging on as well. Do you know, like we've still got Man, but we know naff all about him, and we've still got and
we had that cliffhanger where was it? Did it end on the bit with Yaz going to get all the time put through her? Or something weird.
Yeah,
he's doing like a
one of those
counting down.
There were some long seconds.
The thing with the Sontarans as well, of sort of all of these plot strands, it's like I'm still not sure whether the Sontarans, like they're probably done now. That's like their story's paid off, but because it's not said, or like it's we haven't had that full stop. You still feel like it's another thing of sort of they still haven't finished explaining that, and we still don't really know who Vinda is, and what about the Victorian bloke, and the Weeping Angels haven't gone, and she's still in that house that's disappeared. And what happened to Dan's? It's like, oh my god.
Did we mention last week that Claire's door was TARDIS blue?
Oh,
I noticed that. We did. Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Oh, because the door went, didn't it, on the TARDIS?
Think she's a doctor? No. No. She was going home the long way around as well.
I think the only problem with this sort of introducing doctors, and see, like Jo Martin hasn't come back yet, and I'd assume that she would because her Twitter is still like all Doctor Who photos, and she mentioned something. There was a tweet that she put out about like don't blink. Did anybody see that?
No.
Blinked and missed it.
Yeah, it was like blink and you'll miss it, but blink was like in capital letters or something, and everybody thinks that she's going to sort of appear.
I've got a feeling we'll get like one new Doctor this series, one new past Doctor, but
I think the only
Doctor.
problem with that, I haven't got a problem with it sort of destroying. Well, not destroying. That's a bit of a big word. Of it, of it absolutely crushing. Of canon being altered. Of sort of Jo Martin comes before Hartnell or whatever it is. I haven't really got a problem with that. The problem that I have is that it just becomes messy.
Yeah.
Of sort of you're not entirely sure what.
It doesn't make sense either, because like she has a police box before Bill Hartnell had a police box, and like
don't worry about that.
She doesn't carry a gun, but like the first Doctor didn't have those kind of fundamentals back then.
Yeah.
I think the only way they're going to get out of this is the Master saying it was a joke. It was, it wasn't true all along.
Oh, which is a bit of a sort of, they woke up and it was all a dream.
It's a bit lost then, isn't it? I can't really see them doing that sort of thing, but because either way they've had it. Like if they suddenly say the Master comes back and says, "Ha, gotcha," it's like right, so we've just wasted that. But then if they don't do something with it, that feels a bit wasted as well. So it's sort of they're stuck of. What are we going to do? It's like the Game of Thrones, like the story hasn't finished because he hasn't written them. It's like, well, what are we going to do? Just write anything. Just write it. Just.
I don't know. So asking me.
Sorry.
Didn't they do that on Miracle Day? There were Torchwood, where like they literally aired the first half of the series. He hadn't even wrote the ending yet, or something like that.
Really? Oh, it shows.
Yeah, that's ringing bells.
Yeah.
The day is so long.
What were you going to say, Seonaid, about...
I was just going to say that if I was Jo Martin, I would 100% be fucking with people 24/7. Like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all day, every day. Being like, better make a doctor's appointment today, or will I? Like, that's what I'd be up to.
I'd have taken loads of photos of the TARDIS set whilst I was there. And just keep tweeting like little blurry photos from the set all the time. So people are like, he's in it. He's in it. I'm just putting them on Twitter so I can delete them off my phone.
I think like the specials are going to be... I mean, maybe we'll get Jo Martin in this, but I don't know. I feel like these episodes are going to be their own thing. It's going to be Flux time.
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite a nice little series.
Yeah, and then I think specials are going to be Master, Jo Martin.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever else.
Do you think they run the risk? Do you think they run the risk of sort of people of just sort of not remembering the plot of like who she is and?
Yeah,
maybe because they brought up the division now without having to explain it again. They're just kind of trusting that the audience remembers.
That's a lot of trust. That
because
we barely remember. Yeah.
Well, that's the if. It is not to mean big-headed, but like if we don't remember as like this is the thing that we have to watch over and over again to like do podcasts on, if we can't really all between us work out quite what's going on, how's like a 10-year-old gonna remember Joe Martin's Division Doctor? Do you remember that gun from Fugitive of the Jadoon? Well, did you notice that was the set? It's like, no, they're not going to notice that. That
10-year-old was probably 8 when that happened as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of, it's very bit convoluted.
They did River Song's timeline, and they didn't, they were like, fuck the kids.
Yeah.
They can catch up when they're older.
Well, that's what me and Luke were saying earlier on, like with, who are they writing this for? Because they seem to be going for the sort of, the longer storyline of sort of adult drama, but then it's sort of adult drama, but then like the stories of sort of little plots for maybe the kids like the Sontarans, but then there's this
and the cartoon dog. There's a man in a dog hat.
Yeah, the dog.
Do you think it gets like? Do you think it's got a good balance because Series 11 was quite good for new viewers. There was a lot of standalone stories there, and when you look back on the back end of Stephen Moffat's era, it was like so continuity heavy, like all these references that people wouldn't get. Do you think it's got a good balance now in Flux, or do you think it's relying too much on people having knowledge? I don't know.
No, because I think there is already that assumption that, like we were saying, that there is a foreknowledge of all this Timeless Child stuff, which even we're lost on. And then we've now got like this Atropos thing being thrown in, like everybody knows what that is, and nobody knows what that is. And yeah, I think there's quite a lot.
With the Timeless Child thing. Sorry, go on, Shona.
I was just going to say, I don't think they're. I think they're in the middle of the Timeless Child thing. I don't think they're going to just leave it there. Yeah. Like, or at least I think they think that. I think that's probably their view on it. Like,
you might not have even wrote it yet.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if there's like an assumption that everyone understands. I feel like we're still going to get that at some point. But I mean, how well that'll be executed, I don't know. But I think it will probably happen.
I was listening to a load of podcasts about the Timeless Child because when Luke was doing his rewatch, I was sort of thinking, the first time I watched it, I didn't really like it. And then I watched it again. I thought, God, this is a great two-parter. So I listened to a load of podcasts to just see what everybody else thought. Because Twitter sort of was a bit 50-50 of sort of, oh, Doctor Who's ruined now. And, oh, God, it's great. And a lot of people, I don't think... there's a lot of people that haven't watched it since it's gone out. And that's a while ago. To remember things that sort of happened.
I haven't rewatched it since.
No, neither have I.
No. I think
which one?
The Timeless Child, Ascension of the Cybermen, Timeless Child.
The Gallifrey stuff with the Master. You just watched it last week.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cybermen and stuff.
Yeah, the Gallifreyan Cybermen.
Oh, you don't. Yeah, you don't want to be watching that. You don't want to be watching that. No. But though. I feel like I can't remember any of it. My biggest issue with Flux right now. I've said that 3 times. The first 40 minutes is traditional Doctor Who. It's not chronological to any other episode. It's just a single story for 40 minutes, and this one was a Sontaran episode. And it was an hour long. We got the last 20 minutes were about Flux. And I'm really, really scared that the next episode is going to be 40 minutes traditional story, 20 minutes Flux. I really don't want that. Because I think the first episode was surprising because it did have all these different strands of story going everywhere, which isn't very common for New Who.
What's the next one called?
We've got it's something Cyberman, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that planet was called Time. Was it Once Upon Time? So maybe the history of that planet or something.
I noticed, the very end. I don't know if anyone else was a weirdo like me and tried to pause it, but in the next episode trailer, in Yaz is it looks like she's in her police uniform in a car, and there's a weeping angel in her rear view mirror. So I guess it's going to be a weeping angel Cyberman story.
But we might find out a bit more about that one random rogue weeping angel, if it's just lurking about on its own.
I'm wondering if this is going to be like a turn left situation, and Yaz is going to be back in her old life or something.
So.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I much prefer the weeping angels when they snap people's necks rather than send them back in time as well.
I think it's the Cybermen. I'm terrified for the Cybermen. Just because they're probably my favourite villain. The Cybermen are probably my favourite villain, but they just never ever get used right. No. They're never really sure what they're going to do with them because they're robots, but they're not robots. They're just sort of they're just drones for whoever wants to use them.
They've been their own entity now, really, haven't they?
Yeah, they just don't work anymore, I don't think. I think that's probably why they're resting the Daleks a bit as well.
Yeah.
Have you got a favourite Cyberman story where they're at their best? Including classic, yeah.
Invasion's pretty good, but they don't really have a massive...
What about Tomb?
Tomb's great, yeah.
They really felt dangerous in that. I guess.
Yeah, Tomb's great. The Moonbase, they're pretty good. I think all of the black and white Cyberman stories, even 10th Planet, really, they're really creepy. Mm-hmm. And then they brought them back, the Mondasian Cybermen, and then they can fly.
Aye.
Right? It's God, I loved that when that happened, when the Mondasian came back. And then I was like, why are you making them fly? Why are you doing this?
Do you not think the difference is in Classic Who that the Cybermen themselves were scary. They were these horrible robots. If you were alive in 1960, whatever, you'd be scared of them. And then they tried to make it that the inevitability that we were always going to become Cybermen, that became the threat rather than themselves.
Yeah.
They are a tricky thing. They're a great idea on paper. They are a great idea. But just the further they go, the more they just sort of become, I'm not really sure what we're doing with this. I think the Daleks have got like that as well.
They nearly made the Cybermen good in the new era with the whole conversion thing. It was a bit gruesome, but it wasn't pulled off well. But
I think you can forgive. I can sort of forgive the Davis version of the Cybermen because it's sort of parallel universe. So they don't want to. Yeah. So I'm a bit okay with that, but then they've just sort of changed the wording and they've just sort of stayed the same.
And I know people make a joke of Cyberwoman, but there were some good elements to that.
I really liked that episode of Torchwood. I really enjoyed it because it was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cyber bikini.
Really dark. I mean, her cyber bikini was not needed, but
the whole thing looked like Ianto's girlfriend Lisa, and then even at the end when she was seemingly human, she was like, "Oh, we'll be converted together," and her brains in the pizza delivery person's body, and it was quite good.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. The concept of that, just her outfit.
Yeah, I think that's just where it gets its bad reputation from.
Yeah, heels and the bra, the Madonna bra. What was that about, man?
So they didn't have time to fully convert it, but they had time to make all that.
The
all got that figure out, girls. No.
But yeah,
I think Cyberman design in general is one of these things that really winds me up. Because some of them have been quite good, and then bringing back the Mondasian ones, they kept that quite similar until they started flying, and that was really nice. But even the sort of the Davis ones had bootleg trousers on, and
I'd love them to sort of bring back maybe like the Invasion or a Moonbase or the Tomb one and redesign it slightly, but keep it so that people recognise that's that one from that old story.
Yeah.
And have it sort of abandoned and
has anyone got like a favourite design? Because I think the Invasion was my favourite, but then as a kid I had like the later 80s one is like the Dapol toys. Yeah. So they were my favourite like to play with. Does anyone else have Dapol toys?
Yeah.
No.
Their factory is just down the road from me.
Do you remember the paintwork would get worse and worse over the years?
Awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So with the Cybermen, with the heads, when I ordered the replica thing from this planet Earth, and I spent weeks and weeks just thinking,
was that like 300 quid?
I think it was a bit more than that. Yeah, I think
I nearly ordered a new series Dalek. It was like 1,500 or something.
Yeah.
And then I bottled it. I did have a full scale like red fiberglass Dalek at the time, and like I didn't even have space for that. Eventually,
were you one of the kids who won in Doctor Who Adventures?
Was I one of the kids?
I used to hate that.
Always saw the kid each week who won the Dalek. I want one.
Used to hate that.
But I want one. They were so happy on the cut.
I really wanted a Dalek as a kid because like my favourite was like the Peter Cushing ones.
Oh yeah, they look great.
I love the first movie, but the second movie is my absolute favourite design.
The blue and white
with the big jam jars and
the it's just great. Yeah. But yeah, Invasion Cybermen for me.
Yeah, same here. Anyone else? Any favourite Cyberman designs of all time?
Handles.
Oh. Hey, I'll like them.
I know that's a cheap answer.
No, like do you know what? I agree with you, Matt, because they made you care so much about handle. Like I care more about handles than I care about Yaz. Like in one episode.
There's more character to handles than Yaz.
Yeah, and I like Yaz. I'm sorry for Yaz. I'm like, how come Handles
got a better storyline?
Yeah,
more character development for Handles.
Honestly, like
the thing with New Who as well, the cyber designs for New Who, they get it almost right.
Yeah,
like with the new ones that Jodie's had, the heads are great.
They're so much better. Yeah.
But then
they went and messed it up at the end of the episode.
They got those like things, they're like spikes. Or what are they?
Yeah.
Like,
looks like a
metal six-pack.
Yeah, I like how they had to like pull the body out of the Cybermen so they could hide inside them. That was pretty cool.
See, that's something that I'd love New Who to sort of return to, or not even return to, just explore more. Body horror.
Oh,
that's sort of
Cybermen are great at that.
Vulnerable.
That's what I always found scary.
Yeah, the vulnerability of things like, I know it's not a great story, but the Age of Steel, the John Lumick thing of having this sort of person who's dying or is like terminally ill, and like that sort of the only way to survive is this thing. And even things like Davros. Davros works pretty well in New Who. Like he's great in The Witch's Familiar, all that sort of dialogue. But having that sort of, it's such a vulnerable alien that the Daleks are looking after him, and like he cannot leave this chamber, and John Lumick has to be converted or he's going to die, and that stuff's so creepy. Like even like now, if I watch the John Lumick
with the
stuff,
Swarm.
Yeah,
is that kind of like Swarm because they need to consume people? Well, it looks like they need to consume people.
I don't know.
I love stuff like that.
It works so well. That sort of thing. It's
kind of proper backstory to like an evil mastermind. Like it's not like they're evil. Like there's a proper reason for it. It's like a survival instinct thing. I like that.
It is tricky as well. Like I think, like we haven't really had a sort of television version of Spare Parts of like the genesis of the Cybermen. We sort of had it with the Capaldi one.
But that kind of said it was parallel. Like
but I'd love that. I just love this sort of future vulnerable people of like they're all ill and the only way to survive is this sort of thing, and it sends them mad because their emotions are, they're aware of it.
I remember when we were
it's
reviewing
just so creepy.
Series 12, the lone Cyberman, how he volunteered to be converted, but he said he got rejected or something. So me and Liam had this cool idea that maybe if you consent to be converted, they'll not convert you. I think a bit sadistic.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back at it, was it the Torchwood Institute stuff with Yvonne Hartman? She kind of like willingly went for it, but then she still had her humanity left over.
It's the dialogue as well, I think, a little bit, and that's another thing that everybody sort of, if you want to have a dig at New Who, everybody just says, "Oh, it's the dialogue," but it's lost some of its classiness, I think, or just the sort of the chill of things. Like if you watch Tomb of the Cybermen, I fully get that some people think it isn't a great story. I think it's great, and there's that cliffhanger where the cyber controller leans out and says that we will survive, like you will be like us, you will survive.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of, like maybe in their head they think they're helping you. If we don't help you, it might seem like we're being harsh, but we're trying to help you here, to survive.
Yeah.
But that sort of stuff just works so well. It's so creepy and alien, and now they're just drones. It's the same with the Daleks. Like the Daleks have just become these things that just do.
I'm sick of the bronze Daleks. I'm sick of the gold ones that keep coming back. They reinvent them so much, and then they just come back to the 2005 one.
Yeah, it's weird.
Did anybody see that photo on Twitter?
The 500 ones.
Oh. There's that photo. Did anybody see it on Twitter today of a load of sort of the gunmetal grey Genesis of the Daleks? Loads and loads of them all piled up.
Where was this?
It was on Twitter. I can't remember who posted it, but it popped up earlier on.
Find it.
Like a fan collection, not like a set photo.
No, they were all outside. They were all
having a get together.
Coffee or.
It looked like a photo, like when somebody's working on a set and they take a photo because they're not allowed to take it, and it's sort of a bit vague, but you can sort of see, they've sort of done that to take it. But they're definitely all classic gunmetal grey Daleks with the blue.
Well done.
That's cool.
I'll have to have a minute.
They need to stop playing with signs of them.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Wow. Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
What's the caption? What was said about that?
What?
What?
I mean, it could just be, somebody's storeroom, but I don't know.
Well, look, I can see the comments on the side of it from here. I don't know if anyone else can see them. Yeah, there you go.
I'm trying to look at Matt's browser tabs because we had those dodgy links in the comments earlier.
Just see what's up.
You'll notice I did Google Graham Norton Doctor Who just to see if he was there.
Yeah, there he is. Cartoon Graham Norton, absolutely ruining it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's actually got a TARDIS wiki page. Oh. He's like the biggest villain.
Oh, I'll something legit. I love them.
But yeah, I think Doctor Who just needs to get a bit creepy, scary. It just everything else seems to be going that way. I'm not sure about Marvel and everything because I don't really do that, but it just seems if you're gonna do sci-fi now and you want it to be really gritty, big, you just need to go with the fear factor. I know Luke's a big fan of American Horror Story, and
am I?
Apparently.
I like the theme.
Oh, you like the theme? Oh, there. Yeah. But just that sort of eeriness of just classy dialogue. Just have it.
Because that was the old cliche about Doctor Who, was hiding behind your sofa and and it was over the weirdest stuff. I mean, my all-time favourite classic episode are the Spearhead from Space ones.
Yeah.
Just because that was one of the first ones I ever remember watching, and it scared the shit out of me. And there's nothing gory in it, and there's nothing really, but just the really blank-faced photos, and just the fact that it didn't matter how much you ran, they were just always plodding along behind you. There was something really dark, And then they made them run when they brought them back, and really pissed me off. But that's a story for another day. But like,
Liam told me something on the podcast a while ago. He was like in Newcastle, and he was just. I think he was stood still for quite a while, like unintentionally, and then he just suddenly moved, and someone just screamed because they thought he was like a dummy in the shop.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I think I remember, like, vaguely. Is it like episode 2 or 3 of Genesis of the Daleks, where Davros and they're outside? Yeah, they're outside, aren't they? Sort of testing the Dalek, and it's really dark and foggy. And he's sort of telling the Dalek to move, and it's the first time that we see Davros as this sort of crippled, alien mutant-y man sort of thing. And I just think, oh God, that stuff's great. And they sort of they hint at that sort of creepiness in The Witch's Familiar when Davros is supposedly like dying.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, it's just great.
The end of time ones as well, when he pulls back and he's like,
he's like,
he gave all his cells. Yeah, that was cool.
That's great.
I think Julian Bleach might be the most frightening man on the earth. Like,
I've tried to Google him as well. He's great. But there's nothing about him. You can't find out much. I think he's a theatre bloke, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, he's a bit mysterious because he was in Torchwood as well in that circus one, and he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was in Sarah Jane as well. That the dream guy, the Nightmare Man or something.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great.
So creepy. Like, more Julian Bleach action for me, please.
And I love the Daleks. I think they're great. They're great. They're just such an iconic. They just work. They just work.
I don't know if I've mentioned it. I quite like him as well. I don't talk about it a lot, but
she likes a Dalek. She likes a Dalek. Do
you reckon we're going to see him in Flux?
No.
I don't know. There's a little bit of me thinks they might crowbar one in for a bit of like, and I'm almost hoping they don't, because I think it might cheapen it a bit. Do you know what I mean?
I think we got enough going on.
It's surely going to be a New Year special, isn't it? It's going to be a trilogy of Dalek stories.
Yeah, I'd rather they did that than just crowbar them into Flux for the sake of having a Dalek in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think they're running the risk a little bit with what they're doing now of sort of Weeping Angels, Cybermen, Sontarans.
Doctor Who Greatest Hits countdown, isn't it?
I don't think we're going to see much of the Weeping Angel.
You are?
I don't think we're going to see much of the Weeping Angel in the third episode. I think the Weeping Angel's there for a plot device, like for nothing else. I think I don't know why else it would be there. I don't think we're going to get a full-on episode like Blink again.
No.
Or another Weeping Angel story. It's there for a plot device.
I quite like the idea of it sort of as if it's sort of not turned good, but like this thing is so bad that the Weeping Angel is trying to get people together.
Something.
I like the idea of that, like turn it on its head. It's like when there's a good Dalek or something, that it's sort of maybe not the Dalek. That's a bad example, but that this thing is so bad that even the Weeping Angels are scared. And I'm not a massive fan of the Weeping Angels, but like this Flux, that we haven't seen anything else of the Flux since since episode 1. I know it's only episode 2, but it was just mentioned. I just think it could be so.
The thing is, the Weeping Angels are villains that are all to do with time, and time is all messed up.
Yeah, what is it? So, that they feed off people that are out of time or something.
Because has that ever been explained? Do we know what they are, or are they just?
We've got the whole thing when the end of time, where the Weeping Angels of old, the Time Lords that vote against, and they've got their hands over their eyes.
Do
you not remember that?
And then, is there not talk of them evolving as well, and that he's saying they're like scavengers or something at one point as well? I think that's 10th Doctor.
Was that the Amy one with Matt Smith? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Just wondering if they're, I don't know, them being Weeping Angels and that being their bag, if that's going to come into play, because Swarms just clicked his fingers and made time go mental, and
maybe they're just feeding on it.
Or like,
maybe they're just about,
Well, what would the Doctor do, eh?
You see on the official Twitter, like, who else has got this written on their hand today? And I was like, no one.
Oh.
Literally no one.
Why do they? I don't know why they post stuff like that. They do it occasionally, don't they? Where they think.
Just now and again, you have a moment of like,
who's
that when they try to be a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
I had a moment where I thought Yaz had wrote on WYYC on her hand, or WCCY. Sorry.
Brilliant.
Right.
I thought, what's going on?
Shot that, please.
A little smile.
I was going to say, if there's anybody that can
smile.
edit WCCY onto Yaz's hand, it's like we knew all along. We were there.
Profile photo.
What did everybody think of that? I didn't notice what it was. I'm a bit slow like that. But as soon as it popped up, Leah was like, "What would the Doctor do?"
Oh, I didn't get it.
What?
How can you possibly get that?
Exactly. I thought like she'd seen it. She went.
Well, what would Jesus do? And I was like, what the heck is going on here? They were those shitty bracelets that like those like Christian camps used to give out that everybody had that thought were really cool. Like what's this got to do with anything?
I thought it was a little bit.
But I knew like you those existed, so it didn't take me long to go.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
why I clocked it. I grew up in an era when those bracelets were a thing.
I thought it was a little bit tacky. It was nice. It is. It was a nice bit of development for her.
No,
when did she write that on?
Clara does it so much better in Flatline. Clara did it. That's how you do it. Go out on her own. What would the Doctor do? She didn't have it written on her hand. Granted, she had the Doctor in her handbag, but that doesn't count. God, no. I hate that.
I didn't really mind. I thought it was kind of cute. Tacky. I was like, oh.
Where did she get the pen? Why is it like? Oh.
I've seen the.
Wetted it off.
I've seen the argument of people saying at least it's a bit of like character development for her, like we know what she feels.
I'm pretty sure
that's a stretch, isn't it?
I mean, I would rather. It's just a small thing. I don't hate it, but I'm also not like this is a really well written bit of character development. I don't know. Think she just had a thing. She thought, hey, I'm going to take charge, and that's it.
I think a lot of it relies on you sort of saying, don't question anything. Just go along with this. Don't question anything.
Yeah. But also, you don't have to question everything.
No, that is true. I've tried. I know Luke said he was going to try and watch this episode again, and just sort of think, I love this, and just see what happens. I haven't tried that yet, so I might give it.
It worked better, I'll be honest, but it is stuff like the what would the Doctor do? It's just lazy. There's no other way around it. For me, at least, it's just lazy. We don't need to see that as character development, or like this is what Yaz is thinking right now. She's an actor. That's what actors are supposed to be for. Supposed to convey what the character's feeling at this moment in time. I don't want that in my hand. Pissed me off. Pissed me right off. Sorry.
It didn't bother me, but also you're right in that we would have got what was happening if she had just, as she does, just starts to take charge.
Yeah,
Because we're not a stupid audience, we would know, okay, Yaz has spent time with the Doctor, she knows and also she's like a police officer and an adult. Like,
we established that last episode already with her, like when she's freeing Dan from the cage thing, and she's like, don't need to explain why I know what all these buttons do, I spent a lot of time doing this, and you're like, you already know she's in the zone.
But the hand thing didn't, like, it didn't bother me. I was just like, oh, that's cute. I wasn't like, get it away.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that in the moment for me either. It was just dwelling on it. I was like, and second watch as well. I can't.
There's a few things with. It is with New Who in general, really. I'm not even going to sort of say it's Chibnall's fault. That I get instantly taken out sometimes of sort of what, and then it just pulls you out of the story straight away. It happens loads of times in New Who. Like whenever we do like whatever story Luke's picked for like the New Who bit, there's always a bit where I stop listening to the story because something's just made me sort of, huh?
Oh, like what does John Bishop say at the beginning? So, Sontarans aren't a part of history.
Yeah. So this woman here, she's a part of history, and those Sontarans, they're not.
No, John.
Yeah.
Why would they be?
My favourite bit of dialogue is where who was it? It's the doctor's talking to Mary Seacole and the general, and they're looking at the map.
Yeah,
and
I knew you were going to say that.
And she goes, right, so Britain's there, yeah, Jamaica's there, and then we scroll over to that massive font
How did you miss this?
Right, and that's written there. But then the general says, "What's that word that you just said?" And then she says, "Oh, Russia or whatever." And Mary Seacole says, "Yeah, I remember. I there's something like that." And then Jodie says, "Like a memory, an echo of another time," and they both go,
"Oh yeah,
yeah."
As you do.
What? Oh God, yeah, a memory, an echo of another time.
Exactly.
That.
An echo of another
The words right out of my mouth.
I was just going to say it.
Rewritten everything in my brain. Yeah.
An echo of another time. Eh? Right.
Similar to the writing on the hand thing, right? Is the bit that wound me up is like Jodie looking at the tiny map, at the tiny little bit of Britain, and then going all the way over to the tiny little Jamaica, and it's completely ignored the fact that the word Russia.
All of Russia and China is now Sontar.
The same doctor who read a book in a second in the first episode.
In
book.
Size 72 Arial bold. Sontar.
Hey, what's this?
Yeah. That's not Russia.
Oh, God.
What did everybody think of the music?
I only know the two. Dun, dun.
Where was that bit?
Dun, dun. All the way through.
Whenever the Sontarans appear.
Yeah. All the way through. I don't know why, but the music seems to be getting louder as the series goes on. It's deafening now.
He's sort of... I don't know what's going on. No, I'm not like dissing Sagan Akinola.
No, you said really like the theme for Jodie's series is my favourite. I couldn't tell you why. I love it. Really like it. Yeah.
It's
and usually I like the music from him, but in this episode, it was just the two notes.
He has sort of he's figured out. He's worked out how to orchestrate. I think like. Some of his early stuff is very like synth heavy, but like there's a bit where it's when she's got "What would the doctor do?" and that thing says "Can you repair?" and then they have that sort of slow shot that pulls away from Yaz and she says yes, and he like uses French horns as like this sort of powerful emotion thing, and he's figured out now that French horns mean arpeggios with a pad underneath it. He has started to sort of go a bit more, not even orchestral. I think he's sort of figured out what to do. Like whenever anybody is like trying to look up like how to orchestrate or how to like write for stuff, people always say to listen to the Carnival of the Animals, because it's like the tuba is the elephant and the bassoon is this animal, because it sort of sounds like that thing. And he's sort of.
So you're saying like he's translating the music to what you see on screen much better now.
Yeah, he's orchestrating it. I'm not saying that the themes are great. Like you get that Sontaran theme that's like C minor and like da 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 thing that keeps playing, but he's worked out that French horns mean big. Like you put a load of French horns and you put some tubas underneath it, and they all do that one stab thing. And it's like, right, that's bigness. And then he gets the subtle... Well, yeah, he gets it, like, if you want something mischievous, you use a bassoon or use an oboe. He has worked out that sort of... That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I think this is, like, his first big job. Because I'm sure he's only, like, 28, isn't he, I think? He's not...
Yeah.
It's sickening, yeah.
Yeah, he's not that... I think he's done, like, a short film, a couple of bits and pieces, and people were sort of... When he first appeared on the scene, people were like, he's going to be good, but he was sort of known, I think, more for his sort of texture stuff. And I know in like series 11 and series 12 it got a bit annoying once you spotted it, like whenever there was a sort of moment of sort of like realization. There was this like synth pad thing, and it was exactly the same in every single episode of like this F minor thing that would just sort of wash over the scene.
Yeah, it was like ambient. Yeah.
And it would just, as soon as you heard it, you'd be like, oh God, it's there again. Like, and I think he was finding his feet, but I think now he started using the orchestral stuff a bit more, and it works a lot better. Like,
it's not as memorable as Murray Gold, though.
No.
That's true.
It is true.
I feel like I just don't notice it. I don't hate what he's doing with the music. I just feel like I don't notice it.
Yeah, like you asked what the music was like, and I'm thinking, what music? I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, like it. Yeah. Like it doesn't jump out at me.
Do you know what? That might be a problem of why people don't like the stories as much as well. I know it's a bit of a thing, but Murray, the way that Murray scored everything, he did take you by the hand a bit and sort of say, right, you're going to feel this emotion now. And
absolutely.
You know, I know people
that I'm like, gets me.
I know people hated that. Like, we don't need you to tell us to cry now because, you know, the actors will do that for us. But it does heighten everything. It does make you sort of It's just,
you know, I really hate David Tennant's death, his regeneration, because of the music.
I can't think of it.
And
I can't think of it.
He was a bit weepy as well.
There's a few like this. They kept reusing the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
it's good for trailers.
You know, yeah, it is good for trailers, and it's a great theme. Like the stuff that Murray did is great. It's just they should have said to him
about it as well. Like if it's like your doctor or you, because see that bit. Like the sort of whole 11 theme bit. Shauna, do you remember when we went to the sort of launch event thing here at Edinburgh? And it was like outside the Sheraton, that thing that I dragged you to, and it had a scarecrow and there was a Cyberman. And they had that bit. It was just like a launch event. And they had a couple of costumes lurking about in a backdrop. It was all a bit bizarre. But they had that bit of music on a loop as like a promo for it, and it still just sticks in my head. And it's one of those things that I think people get quite connected to bits of the music, and you either feel it or you don't.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Russell brought back some familiar beats.
Maybe. I can't see Murray coming back because he's based in LA now as well. So he's gone now. He's gone. But
like a lot of his characters all had like each person had like a theme that they kept dropping in.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've got as much of that. Like there's not like a 13th theme and a Yaz's theme that's as
there isn't, is there?
They have got themes,
but it's very subtle. Yeah, but they're very, very subtle.
Not as kind of.
I would show you YouTube video.
Like,
I didn't realise they had themes.
Yeah, they do. They are there. The Yaz has got a theme, but you've got to really listen. You've got to really listen.
It's not instantly recognisable. Where as soon as Amy's theme came on or something, like you would always go, weave that in there. Where I just don't notice them. I have to go looking for them.
Some of them are gorgeous as well. Like Martha's theme's great.
Yeah,
that bluesy thing. There's so many great. He's got so many good cues, Murray. But I think the problem was that they just sort of they didn't get him to write any more stuff, so they started just like reusing. Or we use the dun 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 bit for like when there's action.
Dun dun dun.
You know. It's it just felt a bit tired, I think. So it was nice that when Chibnall took over, it was like, right, don't worry, you're not going to hear that again. But people do miss it, I think, as well. I think, and I think Doctor Who does really benefit from the orchestral score stuff, but I think it really benefits from the synthy stuff as well. Like you listen to like all the Dudley Simpson stuff. It's both. It's like a little chamber orchestra and a load of synths, and I think that combination works really well because it's alien. And I think the moment you start using orchestral stuff, it works great, and it's what everybody does now. So it's just you have to do it. I think just having that sort of synthy element in there, which is what Sagan's doing, and he's doing it really well now as well. Now that he's figured out how to orchestrate stuff properly. And he's still using the synth stuff. I think it is really benefiting to sort of Doctor Who modern day music. I think
it's good that's coming in now as well.
I think I need to pay more attention next time I watch.
It does give. I think Sagan's music does give this era its own identity, certainly, especially 13's theme, which I also really love. But yeah, I mean, I had noticed it in the past. I hadn't really been noticing it in Flux, but I'm going to look out for it more now. I think I've just been too busy being like, plot. Going to talk about this later.
Yeah, there's some parts of it that you sort of think, oh, why have you done that? Not sort of bad, but like there's that establishing shot where you see all of the Sontaran spaceships in the docks in Liverpool, and you get this French horn tuba line thing that sort of plays a variation of the Sontaran theme, but they've mixed it in a way that all of the low end isn't there, so it sounds like quite thin, and you just think, well, why have you done? It's weird choices like that the music's great, but they've just sort of done something odd with it. But anyway,
White Flux.
I'm trying to think what else.
On the TARDIS.
Yeah.
How's it going? That's it. I don't know. And you got the spiky things inside the TARDIS as well.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Spiky things. I'm glad we're not seeing much of the TARDIS. We usually see quite a lot from the inside. It's usually like where they reconvene and discuss what they're going to do. I'm glad they don't have time to do that now. They'll always like, split up or something like that.
Oh yeah, because the door disappeared, didn't it? Aye.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Yeah, last time we had too many doors, and now we don't have any.
Yeah. Don't know. Also, for episode 3, I hope Weeping Angel and Cyberman meet. I doubt it, but I hope.
Cybermen don't blink, no?
Time. That's true.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Cybermen don't blink.
I like that. It's yeah. There's a lot of interesting things that's happening with it, with the Flux storyline, but it's still so vague that I just haven't.
There's nothing to pick apart, is there?
That's the thing. It's sort of.
It's like a good Sherlock, but like just a detective story where you have to. It's giving you all the pieces of the puzzle. You have to put it together and really try it, and in the end, it's like, oh, of course, I was looking at it the wrong way.
Yeah,
we don't have any pieces of the puzzle,
guys.
It's like someone's thrown loads of vases or vases at a wall, and you're putting it together, but it's all different pieces, so it doesn't really matter.
I think that's the thing.
So
they've sort of sold it as like being. Yeah, they've sold it as being this sort of Broadchurchy sort of storyline that you'll get to the end, and then it'll sort of be like, oh right, it makes sense now. But they've also sold it as being a sort of a return to form of like classic Who. But it's not really like that, because you always sort of knew what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. You sort of knew what was going on, but they've sort of flipped that on its head a little bit and made it more sort of BBC crime drama of sort of things are happening, but there's so many things you're just not sure what's going on. Like we still
singing this week. Like, what's that? The big guy in the black cloak thing.
Oh yeah, was he not introduced? Was he just there?
Yeah, well, Bender seemed to know because he was going it's Temple of Atropos, but that's impossible. And we all went, is it? Okay.
So who's under the mask?
And there's now just the big guy in a black hoodie cutting about at the back.
They called him Passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Shona were listening. It was
this was like last week when you guys didn't pin who Diane was.
Somebody called it Atropos as well, which is why I'm confused, because I'm like, what is it?
I don't know. They were talking about the place. The place is Atropos. The guy is.
But the place is time.
No, the planet's time.
And the place.
But what? This can't be time planet.
It's the planet of planet of time. Temple of Atropos. Maury are the people on the statues.
And then the guy in the hoodie.
I think they've made a big mistake. I think they made a mistake calling him Swarm. Like everything's got a sort of plurally name, so you're not quite sure. Is the swarm
a thing of a species or a person?
Well, like the flux. The flux is the thing in space eating everything.
I thought that was the swarm.
I thought that was the swarm.
Which is understandable, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of.
Or maybe it's the swarm.
But when it kills stuff, it turns into like a cloud of stuff. Like, it's a swarm.
Like some kind of like Thanos dust. Yeah.
But they're called the Ravengers, aren't they?
Also,
where's that come from?
I'm sure that I've seen that somewhere.
Who's called the Ravengers?
What's his name? Swarm and
Azure.
Azure. They're called the Ravengers.
What?
Yeah, I'm sure that's definite.
That's mad.
I don't understand.
Maybe this is nitpicking too much, but also I did notice that originally he was called the Swarm, but then when in episode 2, Azure said, "This is Swarm," drop the.
Oh,
but I don't know.
Although weirdly, what made me laugh. The mask thing that whatever his name in the hoodie is.
Dude.
That somebody's found that actual mask that I think
Wish.
Where?
On Wish. Did you see it?
No way.
For like 19 quid.
Funny.
Yeah. Exact as well, and it like bang on.
It is.
We need to get Matt to pull it up.
Quick.
BBC YouTube, the Doctor Who official YouTube channel, Meet the Ravengers, Swarm and Azure.
Oh shit! Okay.
So they
planning people gone through that, or have the Twitter and the BBC website mentioned it and the show hasn't? Or I'm so confused.
That's the thing. There's so many things now. The more you look into it, the more complicated it gets.
What annoying it is.
It's.
Do you think we should let Matt come over some air?
There it is.
Wow.
Oh my god. That's funny.
What's it for? Is it like some like industrial mask, or is it fancy dress? What is it?
I haven't a clue. I just don't recommend it on Wish.com. It's a dark place, I think. But I mean, it is. Oh, it's the actual mask. It's bizarre. Airsoft mask, camouflage full face skull, tactical airsoft mask. What's a tactical airsoft mask?
We've ran out of masks. I've got one in the boot.
Yeah. Go on Wish. It'll be here in 8 weeks.
Yeah. 8 weeks.
$17. That's it.
Bargain.
I mean, it's good if anybody wants to cosplay as Passenger. Yeah.
Exactly. They've nailed it. Everybody's
bang on
next Halloween.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. I don't really know what to think of it. Like I wouldn't say that I enjoyed watching it, but it kept my attention. Like I was with it.
Yeah. I thought I was till we started talking about it.
That's the thing. As soon as we start talking about it, this is the problem. It's like Luke will choose a story for when we do the podcast, and I'll watch the new Who one, and I'll think that was pretty good, that, and then Luke will start explaining about it. And I think, oh god, it's like. It's the rewatch value. I think New Who really struggles with rewatch.
That's the problem with Flux. You can't just. Do you think you can just go and watch one episode? We're gonna go and watch the whole damn thing if we revisit it.
Well, yeah, if you want to rewatch Flux when it's all out, it's going to be like a 6-hour DVD.
You can't just stick it on quick for the evening. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I find with New Who from RTD or Stephen Moffat era, basically anything before Chris Chibnall, often I'll maybe I have like a nostalgic view of it, and sometimes when I rewatch it, I'll maybe find more holes in it than I used to. I'll be like, oh, it's that bit's kind of naff actually, isn't it? Now that I watch it, but with Chris Chibnall's episodes, I don't know if it's now that I'm watching it in a more active way because I'm more of a fan and because I'm podcasting, but I wonder if there's just a lot, there's a lot of build up before watching it, and I'm watching it in a very specific way, which is that I'm going to analyze it. And I have found that with
Jodie Whittaker's episodes, I generally enjoy them a second time, or I do benefit from a rewatch.
Yeah.
But I think a big part of that is just the way that I view it, or that we are all as well, specifically viewing the episodes.
I think it makes a massive difference staying away from social media as well. Because like I remember at the time of sort of watching Doctor Who when it was on.
You mean like for people's opinions?
Well, I think it just sort of... I remember when New Who was being broadcast and like I wasn't on Twitter, or, you know, I wasn't in the Doctor Who universe of social media sort of thing. I think I enjoyed it a bit more. Like, I remember some of the stories that we chose, like Journey's End and The Stolen Earth or whatever it was. I remember enjoying that when it came back, because like Davros was back and like, oh my god. And then when we rewatched it, we were like, oh god, it's not great. But I think now it's sort of Twitter has told you what to think before you've even seen it. Because you go on and it's just a daily thing of people saying, well, if you don't like it, it's because you're not a true fan. And then you have like the other side of it that's like, oh, it's just, it tarnishes it before you've even seen it. So I think next series, or when the specials are off, we'll have to sort of just
boycott Twitter.
Ignore it. Yeah, just boycott it.
Delete the Twitters. Yeah.
You know, we'll have to do what the BBC did, just like take down, all the social media down.
I said that to Liam, so just take the website down and everything, yeah.
Brilliant.
Still makes no sense. But...
I'm trying to think if we've got anything else that was about the episode, really.
I think we should bring Matt back.
Yeah, Matt.
Oh, God.
So we'll wave at him.
He's in that little cupboard.
You alright?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
What you been up to?
Clicking them links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going to close some tabs and then we'll get back to you. So, bearing in mind it's 11:15 and I'm up in like 6 hours for work.
Same.
How would you rate this episode? I'll bookend both ends.
Are we doing like numbers or colours this week? So we've got like loads of rating systems.
If it was a flavour of fruit pastel, Rob, is it one of the nice blackcurranty ones or is it one of the lemony ones you're not happy about?
See, well, we've got different opinions about which are nice fruit pastels. So it's like,
let's just go numbers.
So, okay, well, it's getting confusing. Well, last week for me was an 8. It was alright this week, but not great. I'm going to go with like a 5 out of 10. Keep it safe, like in the middle.
Okay.
There was some good bits and bad bits. I know. I might change my mind in a couple of days. How about you, Luke? Have you had a change of heart since we started this?
No. It's...
No.
It wasn't dreadful. It wasn't dreadful. It was definitely a 4. It was below average. I've seen better from Jodie. Not her herself, it's her era. Nothing to do with her. But yeah. No,
Are you not optimistic about the rest of the show? You were like so hyped before Flux started.
You were dead excited. I think we both were. Like, we were recording, we were like...
How can you not be?
The trailer came out and we were just like... We were sat here with the iPad on the piano over there and we were just like, oh my god, it's going to be great!
And the trailer was great.
Yeah.
It was great. That's all I needed to see so far, was just the trailer.
Should just left it at that.
It's going to be a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't learned anything new. It's only been... I've only been given more questions. It's like...
Not very interesting questions either. There's like... Yeah.
No,
not
we're not giving a reason for it. It's like what Harold said about the Weeping Angel. It's like, if that's scared of something, it's got to be bad. But so far, we've had a Sontaran episode and an alright one, and
otherwise
we've
it's
seen
a bit of a mess,
the Swarm be a bit of a dick, killing robots for fun. Don't kill the robots. And they don't kill Yaz because she's fine. So there we are. So it's 4. It's a 4. I'll move on. Sorry. I'm looking forward to the next episode, though.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still deciding. I don't know where to put it, to be honest, because I didn't hate it, but I know what you mean. Like, I still feel like I'm kind of just sitting at the end going, and
yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of with you, Rob. I'm sort of sticking in the middle because I didn't hate it. I want to go sort of 6-ish. Mm-hmm. There was lots of nice. I mean, as a Sontaran story, decent story. It was all right, but you know, yeah. I'm gonna.
As a Sontaran story, there was too much else going on, though. Yeah.
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 I'm gonna sit at like a sort of 6-ish, sitting in the middle somewhere as well.
I'm gonna jump in here because I agree. Like, I did enjoy the story, kind of, but I more share maybe everyone's concern about where it sits in the larger story. So I think, honestly, if I isolate the story, I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it. And yeah, it was like 40 minutes of like, yeah, just an isolated Sontaran story, and then I had a Flux bit tagged on at the end. But I enjoyed it. But yeah, I am getting a little bit like, this is episode 2 of 6. And I think it's all going to depend on whether Chibnall can stick the landing, honestly, which he may or may not do.
He doesn't usually do
I
that.
think I yeah. So it's like...
If he had form at always having a cracking ending, you'd be like, yeah.
yeah.
You don't know where this is going.
No.
I'm just waiting for it to...
And I keep like hanging... I keep clinging to this idea of like, oh, but remember the end of the first series of Broadchurch and how like exciting it was, and I was like, whoa, that's who did it. That's crazy. But I don't, so sometimes I'm like, imagine it was like that. It probably won't be. Yeah, I'd say a 6 as well. Like, I liked quite a bit of it, but it wasn't like, it didn't like blow my mind,
I think last week I gave the Halloween Apocalypse. I think I gave that a 4, didn't I?
But was that better than this though? No. In your mind, Halloween Apocalypse?
No, I think I preferred this just because there was at least a story. I think it was just little snippets last week for me, and I was just bored. But
it was like an extended trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that at least there is a story. What it means, I don't know. If anything, it probably isn't going to add up to much. I think it's just going to be isolated stories that have got something to do vaguely with the plots.
No, we're all
like
so
40-minute isolated story.
I think so many people have got that fear as well. I think of it just sort of thing. I enjoyed it more than last week. But there's still certain bits that make me fearful of it being able to be pulled off, as it were. I think it's just sort of. I'll give it a 5, which I think is sort of fair. It's middle of the road. It wasn't bad. It wasn't sort of. I didn't watch it and think I have no interest in this whatsoever. But it did still add to my sort of. I'll give it one more. I'll see what it's like next week. And I hope at the very least, I hope it just does that to just get me through it. Because I don't want to have to sort of watch it again from the beginning to sort of find out the end.
It didn't need to be an hour this week, considering like not much happened.
Is there a reason it's an hour? Is it just this one, do we know? Or is it going to be they're all an hour?
I think they're all an hour, aren't they?
That's odd.
Loads of filler.
I think that's the thing. I think sometimes it's a nice idea on paper to have an extra like 15 minutes, but that's a long time. Like 15 minutes is a long time.
You've got lots to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's they could have done more, but they've sort of chosen not to. They're just going to keep the sort of mystery.
Even just a monologue or something with a Sontaran, like describing the fear they have for the Flux. So like this is an enemy they don't fear anything, obviously, but just something like where that Sontaran's talking to the Doctor about the Flux and the situation. But we got nothing.
I think next week, it definitely needs to ramp up. We need to know who Vinder is.
Yeah. It needs a boot
It has to do it. It has to do it. Otherwise, if we end up next week and it's just another... next week happens and it's just a Weeping Angel story, and at the end, the Cybermen turn up at Atropos or whatever it is. I think it's... and I hope that they don't leave Dan on Earth I hope that he's not just sort of abandoned now as sort of...
Yeah.
I'll just do a quick mention to Alex in the comments from the Target World Pod. He's gave it a 7.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a high score.
I respect that.
I've seen there's been a lot of love for this one. I had a look at the reviews and had a look on YouTube, and people think it is really, really good.
Visually, it's really good. We've got the battle and stuff, and the new look of the Sontarans.
They were really well done, those shots, actually.
Yeah.
They were really well done.
It did. It looked a lot better.
Enjoy it. It's happening, yeah.
I think
it's more my concern about its place in the whole thing that's why I'm being reserved. Because I
think
remember
it taints
watching it and enjoying it.
It does, yeah. And it's just sad that those 2 episodes ate up the 6 we have, and that's sad. At least for me, that's sad. I want it to be action-packed, full-on, what's going to happen, and it's still taking its time. It might pay off, though. It might be worth it at the end.
I've got a feeling that cliffhanger isn't going to be resolved in the way we hope as well. They'll just wake up on a field somewhere again. Yeah.
I think that's the issue. I think it's hard to get. I think with anything like this, like trying to review it, especially that it's one story arc. I think it's really hard to review. It's like when people say what they think of Jodie without seeing all of her run. Like, it's easy to say what you think about Tennant or Tom Baker or Hartnell because that's complete now. There's that box set. And now with Jodie, like, you know, we've all said on our podcasts probably like what we think of her at the minute, but you can't say for definite she was brilliant or she was good at the beginning and then it tailed off. Like Tennant was great and then it sort of got a bit annoying. We don't really know what she's going to be, what she's going to do. And to be fair, she hasn't got long left, you know, to sort of prove. Yeah, you know, to sort of prove what she's going to do. She's got these 4,
7
and then 3 specials. Yeah. But that last episode, she's only going to be in that, dying,
and
essentially.
That's the sad thing as well.
You know,
2 episodes I wouldn't say wasted, but like we haven't got much left.
Yeah,
we want it to be good. And I don't think a 5 or 7 is good enough for like these last few moments we have with Jodie. Which is
especially
sad.
when we've waited so bloody long for them as well.
Exactly,
like,
builds
up to them.
Yeah, and I know people have been saying about COVID.
COVID.
See, people have been saying this, and they've sort of used it as the sort of excuse for sort of, well, if it's not great, it's because of COVID. But if you can't do it, don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. It's
There's loads of other stuff being made over the heads of COVID.
Yeah,
recently that's still
some
functioning.
Excellent stuff. Yeah,
I saw a podcast. Well, I didn't see. I heard. And they were saying about COVID, and they can see that they've sort of, this has been done because of COVID, and I can forgive it for that. And I was just thinking, no, because it shouldn't make it. If you can't do it to the way you think it should be done, don't bother. Wait.
No.
I think if you
can't wait though. You just can't wait in the industry.
I think they can though. It's the biggest thing for the BBC. They're going to be like, if you want to do it properly, we'll wait for you. I'm sure they'd, They're not going to be like, well, if you're not going to do it, we'll have to just get somebody else. I don't know.
They got Russell.
Well.
I don't know. Well.
But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Yeah. I think next week could be good.
Yeah.
Could be good.
So are we all coming back for Monday, did we think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm
all free. I'm game.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
You got OBS.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue.
Aye. We'll get Mark in on Monday as well.
Yeah.
Aye.
The voice of reason.
Oh, yeah.
Aye. Are you still there, Matt?
I am.
What did you think, Matt? Are you going to give it a score based on what we've said?
Based on what I've seen, I can only give it a 0 out of 10.
Fair play.
Not going to lie, we haven't massively sold it either.
And to be fair,
I'm rubbing my hands waiting for this 5 out of 10 episode when I get round to it.
And to be fair,
and it wasn't a convincing 5. Everyone was like, I don't know what to say. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you probably know about as much of the episode as we do.
I was like, at point, I just stopped muting myself because you were like, it's this and it's that. I'm just like, you might as well be speaking double Dutch.
You just get pretty pictures if you watch it. You don't really get much more exposition. It's just pretty pictures.
Is Dan still alive? Has Dan been killed yet?
Not yet.
Right. We'll get there.
He's got a walk.
Yeah, he's got a magic walk.
Big walk.
Magic walk.
Do you know what? Last week when you were all like, "Oh yeah, there's this frog on a chair," when you get to that episode,
you didn't believe us.
Lying snakes. I watched it yesterday, and now I'm going to be sat waiting for a man with a walk.
How far away are you now from where we are?
Pretty much a full series. I've got the finale of 11, and then I've got all of series 12.
The finale of 11. The solid finale, is it?
Yeah. Don't do what Luke did and watch it all in one day, otherwise you'll have to...
There's a special place in heaven for people that do that, isn't there? Like sainthood.
Yeah. Luke's reserved his place in the devil's own private furnace for that, you know.
Plus, even if I have to, there's no glory in being the second man to watch it in one day, is there?
Second man.
No one knows the second man on the moon, do they? It's all about Neil Armstrong.
I like the way that Luke is now compared to Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Because he's managed to watch 11 Jodie episodes in one go. I mean, it's a feat.
You weren't there. Nah, it wasn't bad. It was just... It's hard going and watch anything that long in the day.
Did you just keep watching the clock?
Did it just blur into one?
You can't do that. You just... Yeah, it all blurs into one. And the annoying thing is, I've learned nothing new.
It doesn't work like that, though.
No.
It doesn't work. Well, you can watch... I think you can watch some classic Who stories like that, like all in one go.
I suppose we binge on other shows, don't we, anyway, so why not that?
I think it's the format, though. I just don't think Doctor Who... It needs to be a bit complicated.
Is Flux meant to be binged? Is that the whole point here? Because these 2 hours might have skipped by if we just had the finale there waiting for us. And we probably forget about all this, but I think that kind of takes away from the fact that these 2 episodes weren't amazing.
Do you think they should have dropped all at once?
I was just going to say, do you reckon they had a conversation of should we just dump them? Just put them all on iPlayer?
I think it's iPlayer's fault. I blame it on iPlayer.
See, they did that with Class.
Can't do it.
That went streaming first.
Oh.
And I don't think that helped.
Broke all records.
As a Class connoisseur, I know that's the only way to watch it.
Pissed.
I'm glad they didn't, because I think it's still sort of an event sitting down to watch Doctor Who. I mean, it is for us, and I enjoy that. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see maybe what it's like for people when it is all available to watch like that, because it does sometimes seem like it's designed for that. It'll be interesting anyway. In hindsight.
Plus, I can't remember where I heard it, but if you drop an episode every week, people talk about it for that week.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, I haven't watched it, but we're fortnight, 3 weeks since is it Squid Game came out? That was the last big thing, and you can see already that's dying down. People aren't talking about that. But
I'm only on episode 5.
I watched it all in a day.
But don't tell me. I've not watched Flux, but every time I've gone on Twitter, it's the #1 trend. Is Doctor Who or Flux. So you're keeping it in the consciousness for that 2-month window, aren't you?
I think Doctor Who is definitely still alive like that. Like, it is still a thing that people sit down and they watch Doctor Who like they have for, 60-odd years now. It still works that way. I just think there's something maybe not quite right with the format of the way they're running it. I think ever since they've revived it, the sort of the single story thing, but now that's the thing that people expect, I think, is it just to be this 1 45-minute or 50-minute or whatever it is thing. just that one story, and occasionally you'll have a two-parter. But now they've sort of gone, forget that. We're going to do a big one. And it's sort of, I think it puts some people off. You know, you think like you go back 40 years, and like people had to wait 10 weeks of the War Games or whatever it was. You know, Daleks Master Plan, what, like 13 weeks of this? You know,
it was Chibnall's forte. Finally, he gets to do what he wanted to do, have this series. It just hasn't paid off yet, which is...
it has to do something next episode.
It has to.
If it doesn't, it's not going to work.
Better.
Yeah. Stay positive.
Something's got to give, people. Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
We'll use that on the review on this week. Something's got to give.
So who's got podcasts coming out soon? What's the next Who Can Convince You pod?
It'll be we're doing the Reboss Operation and with Flux.
With Flux,
yeah.
All right.
This Friday.
I haven't seen Reebok's thing. What's that?
The Reboss Operation.
News to me. Don't know. Look Who's Talking. We recorded that.
Yeah, we did.
That'll be coming out soon.
Why
not call it Look Who's Talking?
Oh.
No.
Did you do what I said and review all the Look Who's Talking movies?
That's what I mean. It just reminds me of that every time. Makes me smile. I can't change the name now. It's done.
You watch this time next week. He'll have sat down and watched them all back to back.
Oh God, don't, because he will.
Oh, they're great. They're so good.
He's like that.
Look Who's Talking now as well. Christmas is coming up. Better get the DVD out. There we are.
The Blu-ray.
It could be a Christmas special. The Blu-ray. Brilliant.
I like emphasising the ray of Blu-ray.
Yeah. Ray. So what's happening on other people's podcasts this week?
Flux. Yeah.
Flux.
We got the second half of the Web Planet, but not until next week. But we're going to record it this week.
Yeah.
Lucky us.
Caroline's shock there of,
I forgot we had to do that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's all going to kick off.
What about you, Matt?
That'll be good, because the second half of that story genuinely does kick off, so it'll be quite good.
At least something's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I remember the Web Planet.
There might even be some web, I think.
I hope so, because we're 3 episodes in and we're currently webless on the Web Planet, so yeah.
I've been trying to get rid of all of the sort of dodgy ones for Luke. Well, not dodgy ones, just the ones that I know he's going to hate.
The dicky ones. Yeah.
It's just, we got the Reboss Operation this week, and he'll just be like, bored.
But you did that with British Show in the Galaxy, and that was great.
Oh, you're obsessed with that. It's just a rap, isn't it? You ain't seen nothing yet.
It's a whole magic show at the end.
So, Matt.
Yeah.
Again, we're doing Frog on a Chair this week. It takes you away. So I finally watched it. It'll be out Saturday morning, recording tomorrow. I'm sure David will talk about Flux for a bit.
Cool.
Yeah. That's in the
pipeline. Are you quiz questions by Marty?
No. So basically, like, Marty's like the patron saint of our podcast. He's just our best listener. So our Hall of Fame is called the Marty McLean Hall of Fame.
I like the theme.
After him.
Yeah.
So it's because we had a series of weeks where random celebrities tweeted us, like Paul Chuckle from the Chuckle Brothers tweeted us. So every week we just had like, we've got a celebrity news this week. And then the first week we didn't was the week Marty tweeted us. So I told David we've got this big celebrity, and because David's so socially awkward, he doesn't know who anyone is. He was like, I'm really sorry, I'm unaware of Marty McLean. What's his work? He's just some guy from Australia, but he's become like our new hero. So it's one of the girls from the Hall of Fame is doing our quiz questions this week.
Have you got any slots left? Maybe we could all take him on at some point. He could take on the after show. We'll also make Rick super hard questions. We'll just make things up and have him like start to question reality.
Your name's been dirt this week, Rob. He's been bragging about getting 6 out of 6 from your questions.
Uh-huh.
You know, he was bricking it beforehand, so I think you've got to go.
Do you think I shouldn't have given him all the multiple choice? Is that the problem?
I didn't bother with the multiple choice.
Yeah, you went hard on it.
You can work it out. Yeah. If you do a quiz, you're going to work out the answer. You're not having any choice.
I think, and just make the answers wrong anyway. Just put an total fallacy in there.
There's no right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Was it 3 out of 3 he got for...
I think he got 3 this week,
3, yeah. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair.
But yeah, it's pretty good, because for every one he gets right, we've started this new thing where he can gamble, where every question he gets right is one line of my notes, and if he guesses the episode, he gets it right. But if he ever gets one, the first line is either there's some TARDIS nonsense or there's a spaceship crashed. And probably then.
Was it a Christmas Carol last week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Doctor Who episode, there's a spaceship.
Yeah.
Just a TARDIS nonsense.
I think that one's
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up there? What we're at?
Yeah.
Nearly 2 hours 40. Another long one.
Jesus Christ.
Considering there wasn't much to talk about, this took a while. Yeah.
This has nearly been 3 times as long as the episode.
Yeah.
So like if we do 3 hours for every episode of Flux, that's a lot. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah. It was mostly me talking about fucking bassoons. Like, oh yeah, he's really worked out how to orchestrate there. His trumpets are so in line.
Oh.
So who we got left now? We've got 6 viewers.
Wow.
Yay.
Oh.
Thanks for
Hardcore.
holding in there.
I mean, there's 6 of us, so...
Oh, is it all us?
Our mates.
One of them's probably hotties near you. Is it still? Are they still there?
Yeah.
Hotties near you. Well, thanks for having us. And it's lovely to be here again.
Oh, thanks to everyone for giving their time. Especially like 3 hours of your time. That's good.
It's all right. We'll send the bill.
Yeah.
Massive check at the end of 6 weeks.
Harry, there was someone come out your cupboard there.
Yeah.
Or your door.
Don't talk about it.
Matt, there's someone in your cupboard as well.
Oh, damn, I won't sleep.
Imagine if like a body just fell out.
Oh, it'd be great.
Who's the little girl?
Chained to the boiler.
we had, this is so boring, but we had a gas inspection this week. All my crap's piled up over there. So I did think, I'll just leave it open just to show everyone what's in there. But then it is just a boiler.
Yeah.
So,
I like the idea of a gas inspection. That's very official. Never had that done. That's what should sort that.
Yeah, you need that done. Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I changed all our plugs downstairs in the front room to like USB ones, and the house just kept fusing like all the time, like no matter what you did. It's like Leah would plug a phone in on charge and just everything would go boom. It's like, oh, I can't work out why it's tripping. Yeah, just all the cables on fire in the wall. Like,
leave it.
Be all right. You'll sort itself out, won't it?
All right.
Bye.
Oh well. Thanks a lot. So.
Right. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good talking to you all.
Yep. See you on Monday.
And you.
See you next week.
See you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.